a certain way.
Yeah, master.
Oh.
So yeah, so we definitely.
I just kind of like breathe like.
I thought you was congested a little bit.
No,
Like you
I'm not congested anymore.
You said congested. I thought you was congested a little bit.
All right, so we're gonna get into it. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Apologies for the late start, but we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Today for prayer, we're gonna read what I call the Nahala prayer, Psalms 20 to the 3.
Oh yeah.
So let's all say it together. Ready and go. Yahuah is my shepherd; I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Yahuah forever. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Like that.
Hallelujah.
Ironically,
What's up?
I saw something yesterday when I was on Instagram, and it was a girl saying, if somebody is mad at you or somebody hates you or whatever, do not excommunicate them from your lives. I'm paraphrasing what she said. She said, because then you're taking, can you go back to the
footstool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. She said you're taking that part of that prayer out. He prepares a table. What is it?
Before you in the presence of your enemies.
Yeah. And she said, keep them there. Let them stay.
So
she said,
I'm gonna say one caveat. That depends on the situation, and
Yeah.
that depends on the person.
That's
Okay.
where I was going.
Yeah.
She
Right.
said, now if they're physically harming or mentally detrimental, then remove yourself from the situation.
Right.
Other people that are just hating on you or whatever, or just being negative people, let them see it.
You gotta let your light shine.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
That's how she ended it. That's crazy. Anyway, carry on.
Okay, so this is Nahala 3 from the title from last time, from Abraham to Eliyahu, Yahuah-Yireh. So this month is going to be all about Yahuah-Yireh. Part 2 is about Elijah versus the thankful. You'll understand that later. Stay at the brook.
So Yahuah-Yireh, that's like what they say, Jehovah-Jireh, correct?
I translated that in my head too.
I know because I seen you look. I just want to.
So
What
for
was
some,
that? Thankful for what? Versus the thankful.
oh, Elijah versus here. I'll go back to the title. My bad.
Thankful. Stay at the brook. Okay.
Elijah versus the thankful. Stay at the brook.
That's interesting.
Stay at the brook. Y'all gonna hear this a lot from me today. Stay at the brook. Okay. So we already went through the Nahala prayer. So one of the events going on right now, California's in jeopardy of a large disaster right now.
Drought.
Huh?
We got a drought.
Oh, it's more than a drought. Check this out.
Talking about a flood.
Exactly. So if you read this, it said it's not larger than any in world history. This disaster is what they're talking about. It's not an earthquake. It says a mega drought may be the main weather concern across the West right now, amid the constant threat of wildfires and earthquakes. That's what you were talking about. But a new study warns crisis is looming in California mega floods. How do you go from mega droughts to mega floods? But there's no 400-year prophecy. None of the this country's not under judgment or anything like that, right? It doesn't make sense. So
Because it's just a theory.
So if you go from one extreme to the next extreme, you're still gonna kill all the crops. A lot of animals is gonna die off.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to still be. Thank y'all so much for helping us. At the community garden, we still got to be doing our own work and being prepared, setting ourselves up for when this time really does come. We gonna be ready. So I just put this up here to show y'all that because we got a lot today. So I'm gonna keep it moving. So today, on the Torah portion, we're going over Deuteronomy 5. You should know this one. So if y'all don't mind, let's take turns reading so we can kind of do this kind of quickly. We'll start with Brandon. We'll just go that way. Everybody read, okay? Brandon, you got this one.
Moshe called all Israel and said unto them, Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them and keep and do them.
So you're only supposed to learn and keep them and do them one time. That's it. Just them.
Mm-mm.
Okay, keep going.
The Lord our God made a covenant with us in
Horeb.
Horeb. I said, what's this? The Lord made not this covenant with our fathers, but with us, even us, who are all of us here alive this day.
So there was something different about this covenant than even the Abrahamic covenant. So he's going to explain, because a lot of people, me and you kind of talked about it yesterday, we touched on it. A lot of people think that the covenant is like 600 and blah, blah, blah commandments, and this is not. Don't get me wrong, you got to be obedient no matter what. But let's find out what the actual covenant was. Keep going.
The Lord talked with you face to face in the mount out of the midst of the fire.
So he talked with the whole of the people face to face. Go down.
I stood between the Lord and you at the time to show you the word of the Lord. For ye were afraid by reason of fire, and went not up into the mount, saying.
So what does that mean? Because he had just said that the Most High spoke to everybody face to face, and then what does verse 6 or 5 mean?
So it pretty much looked like they fled because they were fearful.
Keep going. Yep.
I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other God before me.
So we can serve whoever. Like we can pray to our ancestors. We can worship our ancestors. We can worship Queen Sheba.
No. It's always my issue in Japan. Same thing.
So we're not supposed to serve anything other than the Most High. We're in agreement on that, right?
Yep.
That includes apostles. That includes mores. That includes everybody. We don't worship man. Anybody. We worship the Most High, the Creator only. That's it. All right, keep going.
Thou shalt not make thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters beneath the earth. And it's crazy because modern day church worship the cross.
Boy, cross worship. Well, you see that
Worship
everywhere.
the Jesus pictures.
Boy, them Jesus pieces. I gotta the rappers. I gotta have my Jesus
Y'all remember the
piece.
peace fish? The Jesus fish?
Oh, the Pisces. Yeah, the
And it's
Pisces.
crazy. I'm like, it's right here.
Yeah. And the cross with the it looks like an ark, but it's not necessarily an ark.
Yeah, but it's literally basically the cross, because what people don't understand is Christ or Christianity. I won't say Christ. Christianity was way before the New Testament and the people in the New Testament. You got 400 to 1,000 years of people that were quote unquote Christians first, but they weren't. They were serving a different Christos. The Roman Catholics
changed it.
when they amalgamated all these different cultures into Roman Catholicism, quote unquote Christianity, whatever you want to call it. People don't understand that, but like, keep going. My bad.
Even in the scripts, like it tells you, like if I'm not mistaken, like Christianity was a name given by the pagans.
Pagans, yeah.
That's not just in the Bible though. That's in, like, you can research it in history, and the Roman Catholic Church literally admit to changing the Sabbath day and the different things. I mean, they admit to everything,
Saturday
and it's
Sunday.
facts.
Yeah.
So you can research. It's not just in
So
the
now
biblical
nobody's being
standpoint.
sheep. Now it's not people being sheep. It's people following their own ideals that they believe is real, because
No. They're still being sheep because they're not reading the book for themselves.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's the thing, like you said, we got to research. We got all of it's here.
Yeah.
Now, of course, extra sources is good, but it's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
And when you were talking about the cross, because this is what people don't understand, that even the people that are Muslim, I'm not trying to offend nobody, but the curse in Deuteronomy 28 says that we would, go into captivity into all nations, and we would start worshiping gods that our forefathers have known, wood
unknown to us.
and stone.
Yeah.
The cross, there's literal churches called cross worship, or it's all about the cross. The cross ain't got no power. The one that died on the cross is the one that had the power, or the one that lived. Let me say that the one that lived on the cross is the one that has the power.
I just thought about something. Go ahead with what you said.
No, go ahead.
Because it's like pretty much like they try to symbolize the Messiah and God. Like, he don't need to be symbolized. He is what he say he is.
Right.
I am that I am. Worship me.
Yeah.
Don't try to have no byproduct of worship him. That's crazy.
I was in a church called the Burning Bush. They called Pastor Cameron at the Burning Bush.
Burning Bush.
Yeah, but I mean, so I'm not trying to go against, like, okay, you have a church called the Burning Bush. Maybe the Most High really gave you, okay, that's what it's going to be. I'm not saying that, but cross worship, that's a little bit like, people be doing some weird stuff, man. Because you got to think, cursed is every man that dies that hangeth on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
So why would I worship the cross?
Right.
Like,
Worshiping the curse.
yeah, I'm not about to worship the curse because we're all curse breakers. You know, we're generational curse breakers. I'm not going to worship the curse. I'm not going to do that because we have a covenant of peace. We have a different covenant than other nations have. They have, they get blessed through us covenant. We have, as long as we do what we're supposed to do, and we're loving the Most High, we're not putting nobody before Him, we can have anything, everything that we want. We got to do our part, as Bam always says. We got to do our part. Keep going. Where were you? Did you? That was a real. Okay, Jeremiah, you got this one?
Something like that. Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
So, He's only going to visit your iniquities on yourself.
Generation.
That's what we got to start, like, really think about. Like, man, I don't want this to fall on my kids, my grandkids. Like,
Yep.
it's all because of us. We got to take that accountability and that responsibility.
I used to pray that. Like before we started, like coming into the truth, I used to always pray. I don't want nobody to suffer for what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
Forgive me. First, forgive me for them. And don't put it on nobody else. Like, that's somebody's shoe. I talk to him. I talk to him because I need them.
And it's vital that we do our part because we know the truth. We know what we're supposed to be doing. And even though our kids are like, please let me do this, I'm like, no, we don't do that. Like, you can't just give in because your kids are feeling, because there's no feelings in the word. And when God says it's something and you know better, I mean, your job is to teach your children that we're not going to do this because God says no. So once you put that seed in them, you have to literally, as a parent, you have to be the one to guide them to understanding like this is why we don't do it. So, and if we don't, then that's going to lay on us.
Yep.
I was going on what you said. I was talking to my kids the other day before I dropped them off to their mom. I said this year we're going to do everything different. I said when they celebrate Easter in class, you won't. When they celebrate Halloween, you won't. I said I was going down all the holidays because that's where my focus is for my children goes. I mean everything else, but that's my primary focus because they feel like it's unfair. You know, I'm like, okay. I said, so here's what we'll do. And I actually got this idea from you, NASA. I got this idea from you. I'm not going to celebrate Christmas or Yule or none of that trash, but if their grades show improve, show me that you deserve it. Whatever you do in class and at home, if what you're doing shows that this is what you deserve, then this is what you'll get. You'll get all of the toys that you want and all this stuff, as long as you're doing the job that you're supposed to do, because your job growing up is to get good grades, be a good person. And I don't have to put up a tree, put gifts under the tree, tell them some, random white dude walked into my house. It's like,
Saint Nick.
Straight up, like my kids will say, well, I don't know if they say it now, but back in the day, they'd say, if a stranger walks in our house, you shoot him. So why would I let Santa Claus come into our house? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a horrible tangent, but what I'm saying is that what I'm teaching them is everything that you've been taught up to this point has been wrong because I taught it to you, and it's my fault for teaching it. Now
That's
it's
good.
my job to correct it.
That's good.
So,
Corrective training.
Self accountability.
and
That's
I
good.
got that from you, so thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
you're
Master.
welcome.
Always
You know
looking
what?
out
Yeah.
for the help.
It's massive.
Always looking out for the help. So he'll visit
Don't
the he'll visit the iniquity of the fathers to the third and fourth generations of those that hate him. Now, Jeremiah, keep going to verse
That's
10.
a lot of generations.
May I read my
And then you got to realize if the next generation is doing the same thing, that's 3 or 4 more. So it's a perpetual cycle. Yeah. But go ahead, Jeremiah.
Oh, man, that was funny, Master.
It's not. Stop.
I got you, man. And showing mercy to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
No, showing mercy to thousands of those that love him and serve other gods and create gods of wood and
That's
stone.
not what he said, Holmes.
So
It's 2 parts.
So he'll show that mercy to us if we're, what's the word then?
Obedient.
Okay.
Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Stay at the brook. Keep going.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
So what does that mean?
You can't use his name in vain.
Okay, but what does it mean?
Not
You
to,
gonna
I don't want to
chastise
ask because me
and
you
not to
about
make
this.
it empty, because it's like
That's
you're
it. That's it.
literally taking away the meaning of who Yah is, and
Prestige.
you're literally calling on something that's not even him.
Can you
Like,
give me an example?
So
I've been racking
So,
my brain for this.
take
God.
for instance the
I
name.
said
They
God.
took away the whole meaning of Yah. You're saying God, but what God are you actually saying?
Like a figure of speech, like,
If
like
you
people
passed
curse.
away and we started calling you something other than your name, are you gonna listen to us? If I pass away, I tell my kids this all the time. If I pass away and somebody starts saying, "Well, that's not your mom. That's something something," are you gonna start calling me that? Probably not. So why would we do that? We literally took the meaning
The
of
meaning
Yah,
away.
and
Yeah.
who's Jesus?
It's like an empty,
Who are we calling on?
like,
Like,
an empty phrase.
you know what I'm saying? Like, who are they really calling on? Like, if you're not calling out the name of what the name is supposed to be, you're taking away the meaning and the substance of, like,
Ergo,
our power, everything. You're taking everything away from what we're supposed to know.
ergo, everything you put out is coming back void, and His word doesn't come back void.
see,
Exactly.
So like this is so layered. So what she says is 100% right, but also so I remember growing up, like people were like, you can't say GD.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
That's
God
taking
dang
the
it.
Lord's name in vain.
Yeah.
God's not His name.
Oh, yeah.
So that was a misnomer. That was a lie. So knowing what we know now, the second Nahala that I went over, His namesake is man's shame. We are His namesake.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're not living a life of obedience to Him, what are we doing?
Shame.
Man.
We're taking the name in vain because He made us.
Clark's
We are His
16.
people and the sheep of His pasture.
Yes.
Right? Because I didn't even know while we're even on this, but literally, our life can be taking His name in vain.
Yeah.
Self accountability. Our lives can be taking Him in vain, or we can be that light that's shining throughout the world.
I'm gonna pull my plaque out the window.
Being disobedient.
There you go. Disobedience, yeah, that's not a good thing. But our life is what He's talking about, because it's not even, man, His name in vain. Oh man, name in vain. But yeah, I'll just leave it at man's shame, because that's what literally in Psalms 23 that we just read. That's what it is. Namesake. If you look at it, it says man's shame. I don't know why they put it. They transliterated those words in there, but that's the words that they use. So we're supposed to be a holy and set apart people to the Most High. He said we will be a peculiar, special people above all nations. We didn't make ourselves better than anybody. The Most High chose us, right? But we can take His name in vain when we worship other gods, other Elohim. When we don't, when we're not on the same page with our brethren, the people that we labor with, the people that we're in vicinity to. When we're not loving each other the right way, sometimes you got to give people a hard truth. That's what tough love is. That's still love.
Yeah.
Like it's not always gonna be hunky dory. We're not always gonna like what the other person is saying, but you still gotta be respectful to everybody. But we gotta stop using the name of the Most High in vain, because we got to stay at the brook. Because if we stay at the brook, we're not going to do these things that Deuteronomy 5 is telling us not to do, right? All right, keep going.
Keep the Sabbath day to sanctify it, as the Lord thy God hath commanded thee.
Go to church on Sunday. Which there's nothing wrong with it, but there's one day we're supposed to sanctify and hallow.
Yeah, Saturday
Just-
homes.
All right, just making sure we're on the same page. Go ahead, Massa.
Oh my God.
Awesome.
6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath of the Lord thy Yah, and it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thy ass, nor any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within the gates, that they manservant and that they maidservants may rest as well as thou.
So I got one more thing on taking the Most High's name in vain. Not giving Him the power that he actually has is taking His name in vain. Because He said, if we ask, we shall receive. If we seek, and we shall find. If we knock, it shall be opened unto us. But our disbelief is taking His name in vain.
Yeah.
We've got to stop disbelieving His word.
Gotta stop trying to give it to Him and taking it back.
Get out of your own way, because Yahushua healed all manner of sicknesses and diseases, but He
Amen.
couldn't have those that didn't have faith. Without faith, it is what?
Indeed.
I'm living
Impossible
by the
to please Him. It's dead. So
Yep.
taking his name in vain, that's what I'm saying. It's so layered. I was like, I didn't want. Okay, go ahead. My bad. Keep going. My
It's
fault.
fine. That was exciting here. Because I'm just living proof that literally that is what happened. You know what I'm saying? Because I never shook up my faith. I never got scared when it was like, hey, you need to go do this, or, you know, you got to get this vaccine, da-da-da. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to shake that. I believe.
Yeah.
And then look, like...
I see your jab, and I'll raise you Psalms 23.
So, that part. And remember that thou wasn't a servant in the land of Egypt, and that the Lord thy Yah brought thee out, out thence?
Mhm.
Out thence through a mighty hand, and by a stretched out arm. Therefore the Lord thy Yah commanded thee to keep the Sabbath day. Honor thy father and thy mother, as the Lord thy Yah hath commanded thee, that they days may be prolonged, and that it may go well with thee, in the land of which the Lord thy Yah giveth thee.
So we can just talk to our parents any kind of which way.
Oh yeah. No.
Question.
What's up?
No.
I was under the assumption that was more of a because that's a two-part as well.
It's layered. It's
very-
definitely
so
layered.
it says honor thy mother and thy father, so on and so forth, and then turns around and says once you get married, you put aside your family and you cling to your new family.
Right.
So
You still got to give
We
them
still
honor,
respect-
though.
we still
Yeah,
respect
that
them
didn't
both,
change
so.
honor. Now, you ain't got to be nobody's punching bag either.
Still respect
Ain't nobody
them
saying
But
that.
there is a part in the scripture though where it basically talks about the parents are not supposed to entice the children as
Yep.
well. It's just not in there. But
Yep.
they have their part and their duty to do. So if they're doing wrong unto their children and you pop back, I'm pretty sure God will probably give you some grace on that because
Yeah.
they're not supposed to do that either.
Especially like when it's people that are consistently putting you in a position
To mess
to
up.
agitate you
Right.
or
Provoke
to
you.
provoke you to
Provoke the
anger or to
Right.
jealousy. That's a sin. And they're wrong for that. Y'all need to rebuke those people that do that.
That's crazy. As
Yeah.
a child, my brother,
My bad, son.
My brother, he was a youth minister, but we was in our scriptures. I'll just read because I was told to, but I guess he was actually understanding. But he used to hit my dad with that one, like, the Bible says you're supposed to provoke your children.
That's a fact, though.
It's a fact.
That's a fact. But people don't want to take self-accountability and let that go. But like I said, I'm going to keep going. So verse 17, thou shalt not kill, neither shalt thou commit adultery, neither shalt thou steal, neither shalt thou bear false witness against thy neighbor. So I can, look, hey, Jeremiah, bam, he's about to steal some money from you.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, he about to.
Mhm.
We can't do that. Like, that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? We're like, again, we're learning what the covenant was. The different covenant that we have with the Most High, because we have a covenant of peace with him, right? Neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife, neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's, right? Brandon, go ahead.
these words that the Lord spake unto all your assembly in the mount out of the midst of the fire of the cloud and the thick darkness with a great voice. And he added no more.
So he added a whole lot more.
Negative, Ghost Rider. And he
Okay.
wrote them in the 2 tables of stone, and he delivered them unto me.
So the 600 and stuff happened as a punishment because our people were so wicked. But the covenant was only the 10 commandments. That's why all the law hangs on 2 things from what the Messiah said. So if we can just break it down to basic terms, the 10, the Most High, he's going to lead you and guide you into the truth of the rest of the stuff. Because a lot of times it's the spirit behind things. Like me and you were talking about yesterday. But a lot of people don't even know that. The covenant was the 10 commandments. That's it. He only really gave us 10. But our people just want to be wicked just like they trying to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to be out there in the world. It was really just 10. Go ahead. Look like you got something to
So
say.
y'all gotta be.
No.
You ain't this time? Okay.
No.
He be like, y'all don't want to listen? Okay, fine. I'm about to be petty. Here you go.
Break down committing adultery. Break that one down.
That's deep.
I've
That's deep.
Googled Googled what it means, and
It's when
I've
you
come
marry-
back with
it's when
like
you-
7 different.
It's when you
We'll
marry,
talk
you
about
cheat.
that
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Or you
talk
mess
about that
with a
after
married
because
person.
no,
It's there's more
yeah,
to it, though.
that is true, but the biblical
It's- yeah,
definition is a
it's
little
more-
bit. It's a
That's
little
what
bit
I said.
different.
And this, I'm gonna tell y'all. Like
That's
I
what I'm
said,
saying. We can do that one. That's a
I
whole.
think you covered a lesson on that.
Yeah, it's
I
that.
remember.
That's a whole can of
What
worms.
you thought it is?
Just messing around.
We're gonna talk about that later because
All
it's
right,
deep.
that's
Yeah.
fornicating though, right?
No,
It can it can be.
Once again,
But that's what I'm saying.
We're
Y'all,
gonna talk about this after.
You covered that lesson before, though.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember.
We have, but
It was really good.
It's layered.
Yeah.
I'll tell y'all this, with like what happened with me, we're coming into this truth, we have to relearn what we thought
Everything.
like
we knew. Take personal, moral, what mama and grandmama, auntie, dad,
Forget about
JoJo
it.
said.
Forget about it.
Learn this. This is a new thing you have to learn.
Yeah.
Learn it for face value.
I know I'm somewhat right about that though. It gotta be.
Look, I promise you. After we done with this, we can
We
talk
gonna
about
talk about
that.
it, yeah.
We can talk about it, but just
Yeah,
let's just do.
yeah, let's
Let's
do
stay
it.
here now,
Okay.
because
Like
that
focus.
because that
Focus.
that's
It's
a
rabbit
whole
hole.
can of worms.
Yes.
It's a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's okay.
And it came to pass when you heard the voice out of the midst of the darkness, for the mountain did burn with fire, that you came near unto me, even all the heads of your tribes and your elders.
So because there's always an order, right? So everybody was not just about to come up to Moses like, "Hey, Moses, hey, what up, man? How you feeling? You all right?" No, the elders, the leaders were the ones that came to Moshe, lest they die. But keep on.
And you said, Behold, the Lord our God hath shewed us his glory and his greatness.
So they just so happy, Yeah, he showed us. Yeah, man. Yeah, okay.
And we've heard his voice out of the midst of the fire. We've seen this day that God doth talk to man, and he liveth. That had been epic.
Mm-hmm.
Now therefore, why should we die? For this great fire will consume us. If we hear the voice of the Lord our God any more, then we shall die.
So what I'm trying to get y'all to see on this is the only difference between the Old Testament and the New Testament. There is a greater outpouring because in the Old Testament everything was mainly done through the man of Eliyahu or God or the prophets, and in the New Testament a lot of them go by apostles or disciples, whatever. But the only difference is now, like the Messiah made it known to us that the kingdom of heaven is within all of us. Because of this, what they just said in these last two statements right here is the reason why we think that we have to go to a bishop, we have to go to a cardinal, we have to go to a priest.
Because they're higher ranking.
Because of what they just said to Moses, though. Like, what did they just say?
If we see him again, if we hear him again,
we should die. Yeah.
And so now we're going to go to the next one. Go ahead, Bam.
For who is there all of flesh,
Of all flesh.
that hath heard the voice of thy living God, speaking out of the midst of the fire, and as we have and live.
Now, didn't Moses just go for 40 days and 40 nights and lived?
And then they heard it amongst themselves.
All of them heard it.
And so, like this, I guess this I'm telling them, like, did we not just live? We just went to live. What is you saying? That folk had a direct encounter with the Most High, and they still wanted to be fearful, and not even gonna say fearful, but
No,
they
it is fearful. You're right.
That they had a faith.
But read the next verse. That's why we gotta understand the power that we actually have with the Most High. We gotta stay at the brook. But keep on. My bad.
Go thou near and hear all that the Lord our God shall say, and speak thou unto us all that the Lord our God shall speak unto thee, and we will hear it and do it.
So asking you shall receive. They asked to not be able to talk to the Most High face to face, and that followed from generation to generation to generation to only
So-
prophets.
That the reason why we lost the plug?
Huh?
Man,
That the reason we lost the plug?
Man.
Bruh. Ran off on the plug
Yeah,
twice.
we gotta change that.
Bro, but that's why we got to do that individually, because that's what Yahushua the Messiah was trying to get us to understand. Like, hey, whoa, hold on, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It's nigh, because he actually continued John the Baptist's ministry, but he just gave it complete understanding of it. But we always were able to talk to the Most High face to face. We asked to not be able to do that. That's why there's times when we go through life now, like, man, are you there?
Are you alive?
Are you
Like,
listening?
for real? Like,
That's why, and
yeah.
this kind of answers, because to me, the Most High says it's a good thing. To me, I kind of feel like that was a sinful thing. I don't know. He says it's good, but I just kind of feel like, But that's why I'm always praying like the sins of my ancestors, because I kind of, when I see stuff like that, I'm kind of like, man, I wish they wouldn't have.
Put that on us,
Right.
Yeah, like,
We gotta break that.
because remember, our ancestors also said, "Let His blood be upon us," talking about the crucifying the Messiah. So that's why I'm like, yeah, let me just make sure that's off our line completely. But that's just my personal belief. But keep going, my fault. But y'all see what I'm saying though? They asked to not be able to talk to the Most High face to face.
Crazy.
They didn't even want to hear from him. That's crazy.
Adam ain't the only one got to get punched on.
Boy, hey, bro. Somebody, no man, somebody getting swung on, like on phone him.
Adam for sure, we got to jump him.
Gotta jump him.
Like, oh, you
And
made
just
it.
don't forget to get Eve.
Exactly.
The angel was like, you made it. Welcome. Hold on. Hold that thought. Because
Hold my beer. Hold my no.
there's a lot I gotta do. Real quick. I need you to come back to this book real quick. Hold on.
The Lord heard the voices of your words when you spake unto me. And the Lord said unto me, I have heard the voice of the words of thy people, which they have spoken unto thee. They have well said all that they have spoken.
So he said it, yeah.
So they said what they said. I heard them say what they said.
Right,
They
that's
said.
Mouthful.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah, they said what they
How
said.
could y'all do that to us? I ain't
They
did
were
nothing to
selfish
y'all.
and scared.
And because they
Fuck,
knew they
it was
couldn't cut
scary.
it.
It's
Yeah.
like a
Selfish and
scary
scary.
situation, you know?
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah, it is like this.
But
I mean,
that's
I understand.
But
I
that's
understand.
why we have that big divide now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's certain things that we kind of got to pray off, and then, but praying it off, it means you got to get yourself right.
Yeah.
You got to get it together.
Going back to what you
It's that
said.
self accountability.
Going back to what you said about, while
That's
we
what
go to
your mom
priests and
said, too.
cardinals and preachers and this, that, and the other, they can't even hear them.
Well,
say
Like,
that,
I mean,
claim.
if these people, not if, when these people decided, hey, we don't want to talk to him anymore, and he was like, cool, bet. The elders that could talk to him, or the one or two people that could speak to him, when they passed away,
who was able to see him?
you know what I'm
talk to
saying?
him.
Like it kind of makes you wonder, because if
Yeah.
you got
So
Moshe, right? We talk. There's mountain, fire. They can all see this. These people said they didn't want to see it. They didn't want to talk to him. So he's the last one that could talk to him until the Most High decided
to pick one.
to pick somebody.
Yeah.
that's why he would always raise up prophets. So what we're going to get into here in a little bit is because there's different ways that the Most High talks to us, right? So this is like the most profound, the most plain way he can speak to us, right? And they basically prayed that off of all of us. Like that's something that we got
That's why I
to
tell
get
you,
back to. Say what?
You don't understand how powerful your
tongue
words
is,
are.
man.
I was just talking to my cousin about that. I said, bro, the things we say, that's why I'm very careful with my words.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very careful with
I
my
was
words.
just telling my homeboy that last night 'cause he said something real weird, like, bro, you can't say that,
can't
bro.
say
'Cause
that.
if you put it in the atmosphere, it will happen to you
Yep.
the same way you said
Put
it.
it in that
to
quantum field, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that they were such and hardened. Hold on. Oh,
Yeah.
that
There.
there were such and hardened them that they would fear me.
But I thought they just feared him though.
Huh?
But I thought they did just fear him because they were scared they were going to die.
It's a different fear. Out of respect.
Liquid courage.
That's it.
Because keep all my commandments always. See, that's the system. Always. That it might be well with them and with their children forever. So he said, all they got to do is respect me. Just keep my commandments all the time. It's going to be good for them and their kids.
Fear me.
Yeah.
They got the real inheritance.
Because they had fear, but they didn't have enough fear or reverence to
There's
do
different
things
type
out
of
of
fear.
out of the heart of like, I'm gonna do this because my loving father. This is just me being obedient because you're supposed to honor your father and your mother. He's the father.
And that's the thing, That's why, like you said, fear. So because they fear, they didn't fear him properly.
That's it, and a lot of people won't catch that. Did y'all understand what he said?
I was reading that. What you
Right
say?
back.
No, I said because of their fear, they didn't fear him properly.
Yeah.
Because
There's different types of fears.
yeah, so one word fear translates to
Scary.
is scary,
Yeah.
afraid,
Or
but
respect.
the respect.
Yeah.
Now that's the one that we need to hone on
Yeah.
to.
Mm-hmm.
And
He want us to respect him. Now, of course, we got to fear him too, because
Yeah.
they're wrathful. They're wrathful.
Yeah.
So basically, fight or flight.
right,
Like a parent
Chaos.
to his child.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean,
like a parent to his child.
Because
yeah.
you don't want your children to fear you, like when they
I'm
see,
scared,
oh my God, let me
scared,
go
no.
hide. You want them to respect and love you, but
Listen
fear
to
you
learn
not to
everything.
disrespect you and to
Yeah.
listen
Thank
when you give sound advice. That's the
That's
fear
it.
he was looking for.
Because
is
they
that-
had a fear of dying immediately,
yeah.
and they didn't fear him killing them softly, killing them slowly, even their children to the third and fourth
It's
generation.
like he wants us to fear him out of with love,
Love and
not
reverence. Yes.
as in, oh my gosh, he's gonna kill me right now. Like that's
That's
different.
That's not love.
What I used to say about raising the kids was love through admiration, discipline through fear. You'll love me for everything that I do for you and everything that I teach you, but you'll fear what I will do to you if you mess up.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Same
pretty
thing.
much.
Same as that thing.
Yep.
And I actually stopped putting my hands on my kids. Like I only whoop them with my hand.
Yeah.
You know, and up to their age, I stopped doing it. I make them do push-ups and crunches and stuff.
Yeah,
I ain't
hey,
doing.
there's many different ways to discipline. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's keep going now. Come on.
Go say to them, get you into your tents again. But as for thee, stand thou here by me,
That's what the Most High is telling Moses.
and I will speak unto thee all the commandments and the statutes and the judgments which thou shalt teach them, that they may do them in the land which I have given to possess it. Ye shall observe to do therefore as the Lord your God hath commanded you. Ye shall not turn aside to the right hand or to the left.
So we can just, the law's done away with.
Nah.
So, boom.
Hmm?
Remember I was telling you, a couple brothers I talked to, and that was the kind of, what was that, 31?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 31.
But, so, you see how he said all that, and it was like, do this in the land I give thee. His point was, we're not in the land anymore.
Yeah.
So, a lot of that is null and void, so to speak. because
So
we're not
some of the
on
stuff
holy ground.
we can't do because we're not technically in our land. I get it. I got it. If you want to have it on a technicality, I get. But what are we still supposed to be? Obedient.
Obedient.
So all that stuff the man be talking about, it sound good. That sound real good. You're right. It's not in the land. I get it. That was for a lot of this was for a specific time for the people. But I mean, are we going to believe in the whole book or just the parts that fit our agenda?
Right.
Like which one is
That's
it?
one thing I hate. Ooh.
Yeah, you got to do the whole
Keep
book.
going, keep going. 'Cause
You got to do
I-
the whole book.
Okay,
All right.
go ahead, Jermaine.
All right. Ye shall walk in all the ways which the Lord your God hath commanded you, that ye may live, and that it may be well with you, and that ye may prolong your days in the land which ye shall possess. Where is that land at?
It's
You
a
think,
moment.
you think it's really?
I don't necessarily believe that it's where they're claiming it's at.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be part of it. I don't believe that's all of it though.
I got
It's got to be massive.
Okay, but I'm not really
wherever
trying
it's
to get off subject
Yeah.
for too long. Okay, go ahead. What's your theory?
I was just going to say, because wherever we at, it's all going to be ours.
Wherever we put our foot on. You're right.
at. Yeah.
That's in the book. You're right about that. So how does Yahuah talk with man? What was one way? We just read it.
Physically, face to face.
It was face to face. Okay, you're right. So this is the second way. We're gonna go to Job 33. I'm Jessica, if you don't mind, read verses 15 through 17. Okay.
In a dream, wow, I was literally going to say that too, because that's how I get mine. In a
Me too.
dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumbering upon the bed, then he opened the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide pride from man.
So whenever you be having dreams, I'm not saying every dream is going to be prophetic, but that's one way he talks to you.
But you know,
I'll give y'all one example. Like for me, like when I knew that my calling was, what I'm doing now, whatever. I fell asleep one night, and I was home alone or whatever, and I think, was the light on or was the light off? I can't remember, but I know I was a dark sleep, and I just heard the voice calling my name, and like me remember like, oh, hold on, here am I. That's what if that happens to you, that's how you're supposed to respond according to how the prophets have done it. And then you'll just start getting words or messages. A lot of times I just get quote unquote downloads. I'm like, okay, I was going to teach on this. Nope. Wake up the next day like, nope, it's got to be this. This is it. But this is one way in a dream. The same thing happened to Daniel. Same thing happened to Ezekiel. All these prophets, John, all these prophets have dreams, right? That's one way. So in a dream is one way. We talk about the one is face to face. That's going to be coming up here in a minute. So now I'm going to read Numbers 12 verses 5 through 6. Numbers 12 verses 5 through 6. And Yahuah came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aharon and Miriam, and they both came forth. So he was actually mad at them. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak to him in a dream. So it's also a vision. So it's a dream and a vision. Either way, he'll make himself known to you, right? But you got to keep seeking, and he'll give you more and more and more. So in a vision. Now, the third way, what we read earlier, so we're going to Exodus 33. And Yahuwah, in verse 11, my bad. And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe face to face. That's what our ancestors prayed off. That particular relationship, the face to face. But you got to walk uprightly if you're praying for that too. As a man speaketh unto his friend, because we know Abraham was called the friend of the Most High. So it was Moshe, because Moshe was, look, I've read some stuff. I'm like, I'm not standing in the gap for people like that. I'm not telling you, I'm not about to tell you to block my name out with they name from the book of life. It's not happening. Because I like these people ignorant.
I'm glad he was standing enough to do it.
Boy, they ignorant.
They were gonna be gone.
I'm not going to do that. Like, I ain't got that in me.
I ain't got the heart.
Nah. And he turned again into the camp, but his servant Yahusha, the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. So even when Moshe left Yahusha, who was the one that led the children of Israel after Moses, he would never leave the tabernacle. So he was continuously learning not just the acts but the ways of the Most High.
Question.
What's up?
Yeah, you saying Yahusha and where Joshua is?
Yeah.
The same people.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
that's
same.
I thought.
It's actually Yahusha or Yahusha or Hosea. But yeah.
I was.
No, you're good. So now we're going to go to Numbers 12, and I'm going to read verses 7 through 8. Numbers 12, 7 through 8, because we talked about face to face. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. So we read earlier in Numbers 12, right? He said, with him I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of Yahuwah he behold. Wherefore then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe? So again, he spoke to him face to face, mouth to mouth. That's why in the New Testament, Yahusha, right, he was speaking parables to everybody around, but then he would speak plainly to his disciples. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happened, because that was Yahusha talking to Moshe in the Old Testament. So then when he is made a man in the New Testament, he's speaking plainly to his disciples, but to everybody else, parables. All this was prophesied in the Psalms. David would prophesy all this. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. No,
I thought you were going to say something.
No, because
okay.
my mind's just going.
Okay.
I was just listening.
So what are the three ways that the Most High talks to us?
Dreams,
vision, face to face, and mouth
face to face.
Okay, I'm back
mouth
to question. Break down it and the similitude of the Lord shall behold. So I thought this was God speaking. Or is this Moses speaking to what he
Well, we've never directly dealt with the Father, though. We've dealt with our Father, but our Father is actually Yahusha. The Father is the Most High. So in the Old Testament, when he's seeing the quote-unquote Lord, that's actually Yahusha, because he created all this at the instruction of his Father, right? Who is all spirit, who doesn't belittle himself to take human form. He has a son for that. So when Moshe was seeing the similitude or a symbolism, remember, he saw the back of him. He didn't see like necessarily all of them, because you can't see the Most High and die and live or whatever, because that's why Enoch had to mess around and he had to get up out of there. Like, yeah, he saw some things and he had to he told, if you read like some of the other books that were taken out, I'm not gonna get into all that, but he saw some stuff and then he had a certain time period left and he had to just go ahead and get up there to his next calling. But that's just
what did he see he was supposed to see or whatever?
He saw. A man cannot see the Creator and live here. You can't.
Describe what he's seen.
So where did he go after he saw him?
He walked in heaven.
He's up there doing whatever the Most High wants him to do.
So the one person saw the Most High, like
Enoch.
boom, ascended.
Well, there's been multiple people that have ascended.
Yeah.
Like there was people that actually, according to the books that were taken out, that ascended with Enoch. There were people in the Apocrypha that ascended, at least one. So there have been other people. You just you hit a certain level of righteousness and fasting and praying and seeking the Most High out, and He's like, you know what? I got need for you up here. Good job, my son. You can come on. You know, once you get to that sonship, you get a higher calling to do greater things.
Even when the Messiah come back,
You never know. You might become a principality or power. We don't know. We honestly don't know.
But when the Messiah come back, that's the whole rapture idea. Like people, everybody's not gonna technically die.
Nah,
They're gonna. Is that right?
Yeah.
The concept of the rapture.
There's not gonna be a beam me up Scotty rapture. that ain't happening. Like even like with Enoch, he had to go to a specific place in order to go to that next dimension.
Yeah.
But no, it's not gonna be a beam me up, Scotty. Like,
Well, I ain't walking into CERN. I ain't going.
The Hadron Collider.
you can do it again. Why not? That's where you came from. Anyway, okay. So, what is obedience or obeying?
Oh,
To obey.
the
Do
product
what you're
of
told.
listening and
Instant
doing
willing and
what was
obedience to
told.
orders without question.
Yeah, understanding.
I like that definition. I
You
like
can't
that.
use obedience in the definition of obedience.
Why not?
He's just being obedient.
You sound like the concordance, man. You looking for the concordance.
Like Google.
What is pleasure? Pleasure is pleasure. Like, what?
What does that mean?
Okay, so we're going to go to 1 Samuel 15 and read verses 17 through 23. Go ahead.
And Samuel said, when thou wast little in thine own sight, wast thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And the Lord anointed thee king over Israel.
So he's talking about the first king of Israel, King Saul.
And the Lord sent thee on a journey and said, go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, wow, that's a dope name, and fight against them until they be consumed.
They're all arch enemies, by the way. We keep going.
Wherefore, question about that. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil? What?
Mm-hmm.
Let me run that back. Wherefore then didst thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of the Lord?
So, because he didn't do what?
He didn't obey, but he basically, I'm not gonna do what you told me to do, but I'm gonna get from it. I'm not gonna do it how you told me to do it, but from the act, I'm gonna reap the benefits.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Now read
Did I get that
the
right?
no, you're right. Read the next slide. Keep going to finish
Okay.
that. Go ahead.
And Saul said unto Samuel, yeah, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites.
So that's not what Samuel told him that the Most High told him to do. Keep going.
But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord their God in Gilgal. And Samuel said, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. I'm lost. Can you explain that?
So we come from a people in ancestral worship to where we sacrifice animals to our Creator.
Mhm.
So the Most High gave commandment to Saul from the prophet Samuel that they were supposed to slay everything. You're not supposed to keep anything alive. You're supposed to slay everything. They didn't do that. So Saul was telling Samuel that, I listened, I obeyed the voice of the Most High because, I left Agag the king alive. You're supposed to kill everybody and all the animals and I left all these animals alive so we can sacrifice to the Most High. The Most High told him to slaughter everything, animals included.
And don't take no spoils. So
Nothing.
The gold and the silver, whatever, leave it.
Because it was all polluted.
Yeah.
So they did not hearken or obey the voice. Finish that up.
For rebellion as is the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king.
So we don't really be understanding that rebellion is witchcraft in the eyes of the Most High.
This major.
It's witchcraft. And the Most High, so that's why this lesson is really titled Stay at the Brook, because he gives us words, he gives us instructions, but we don't necessarily stay, or we don't necessarily be obedient to what he's telling us to do, or we got too many other people in our head that's like leading us and pulling us like two different directions, right? But he's giving us his way, he's making it plain, but we're getting in our own way. We're not being obedient.
It just hit me.
Go ahead.
We were talking about yesterday about the praying and how like getting the book. And like when you talk to tug of war things, me and you always go back and forth and talk about stuff, but just thought about it. Like you said, like I ain't got to deal with the tug of war. Get in the book. And that's the same thing he was telling me, like, what you praying about it for? It's in scripture.
That don't mean you don't pray. Men
I
are
know
to
what I'm
always
saying,
pray
but
not to faint.
I'm just saying how the Most High, like, I just took an epiphany of the Most High telling me, get in your book. Like, even from him, like, get in your book. You know what I mean? That's what I just got. And then when you were saying it, I'm like, wow, epiphany just hit. Get in your book. Man, that's powerful.
Like no, for real, like get in your book and like stay at the brook, because there's going like we're living in two ages simultaneously. We're in an age of deception, but we're also supposed to be, if we want to have the riches that's coming like Solomon had, we also have to be living in the age of obedience. But in order to be obedient and to truly sustain ourselves, we have to depend on Yahuah-Yireh. We have to stay at the brook. I'm gonna keep saying stay at the brook. Y'all gonna understand it here in a little bit. But we're talking about obedience, right? Let's keep going. Because we read, yeah. And remember, rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So the word obedience, shama, means to hear, hearken, obey, publish, to understand, to be obedient, diligently. So it's not just a one-time thing. You're diligently being obedient. It's an action. You declare, you discern, right? Let's read some more. It also is to hear intelligently. That is one of a lot of our major problems. We hear it, but we don't hear to understanding. We leave things at the base level, and we don't peel the layers back. Sometimes you got to research further. You can't necessarily take everybody for their own word, because everyone has a word, right? Everyone's worshiping some type of Elohim or Elohim, whatever you want to call them, and you don't know who is being sent, because the Most High, He allows it to happen to get you off track, to make that might even kill you, might even end your life. You don't know. You don't know, because what you were talking about earlier, that fight or flight, that is the worst scenario you can put your body into. And when you're continually listening to all these different words and they're pulling you like that, you're spiritually putting your body in that same state of chaos. And you're wondering why you can't have peace, or you can't really fulfill the things you know the Most High has placed in your heart, because He wants to give you the desires of your heart. He wills that you may always prosper. He just wants us to be obedient. So we got to stop allowing that tug of war to happen. Like, no, the Most High, He's already told me this. Mm-hmm. I know this to be true. Go ahead. Was you about to say something?
Just clearing my throat.
So it says to hear intelligently, because with all you're getting, get understanding. Because you're supposed to understand first, then rebuke. The problem is people be trying to listen to come back with a counter argument. Understand first and then rebuke. You got to take that with every, especially like if you find a whole bunch of different ministries on YouTube, you got to be careful with that, because you listen to some stuff and they'll have your imagination going, and then the next thing you know, they start teaching stuff that you know is wrong, but now you've come in covenant with them and you can't break free of it. So you got to be careful. Bam, would you read the rest of this?
Oh, bruh.
No, it's just water with lemon.
And it's often with implication or intention, obedience. There's a causatively.
Causatively.
Causatively. I thought that was casual. Attentively. Call, gather together. Carefully, certainly. Consent. Consider. Be content. Declare. Diligently.
And what's this word?
Diligently.
The next word.
Discern.
The problem is a lot of us don't really be paying attention to the discernment the Most High has given us. Mm-hmm. People will literally give us questions just to try to throw us off. Yeah. And we get stuck. And sometimes when people, if all they're trying to do is get you confused, and you know that they ain't living the way they claim they living, they just be talking, and you know, like, okay. And most of the time when like these people, they don't even, I'm not gonna get into all that. We got to stay at the brook, and we got to be rooted ourselves. We got to stand on our sure foundation, our solid ground, which is the word, which is the book. That was the last one in that. Jamal, read these next slides. So now we're gonna go back over Nahala real quick.
So you said, okay.
I don't know why that's Nahala. Do any of y'all remember what Nahala was?
Oh,
I don't.
Let me go through my many notes. I
I think Nahala was like your.
I don't remember. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It was like your grace or mercy, your praise.
Mercy. Okay, so the first Nahala was about mercy.
Man shame.
It was Yada Kased, no
shame.
Mercy.
Right.
That was the second one. That was man shame. That was Psalms 23 with namesake. Namesake, if you look it up in the concordance, it's going to give you man's shame. Right? But the original Nahala. Now, it was called no mercy. Yada Kased, no mercy. But read that for me, Jamal.
Which part? The bottom part?
Well, you see, what is this word? That N word where it says transliteration?
Yeah. Nahala.
Nahala.
Nahala, yeah.
Okay. Now read where it says the KJV
I
translates
don't remember
Strong's 5159
Okay.
down in the center.
Yeah, it says inheritance, heritage, inherit, or possession.
So your Nahala is your inheritance or your heritage or your
Possession.
covenant with the Most High.
Yeah.
That is
So
our
we inherit the
Nahala.
covenants, yeah.
Right. So this is our Nahala. So where we find this at is, what do y'all remember what book we found out Nahala in?
One
In
of
the
the
Bible.
prophets.
One of the
I don't
prophets.
remember.
Oh, it was Jeremiah.
Close, but no.
Isaiah.
Isaiah, what chapter?
Now you get it.
36.
Nope.
I don't know. I wasn't even here.
Go higher.
Isaiah 7.
No, go higher than 36.
54.
That's it.
Okay.
On the nose. It's found in Isaiah 54. Now, Jeremiah, since you found it, you're going to learn about it today. I want you to read all these here slides, young man. All right? You ready?
Gee whiz, thank you.
No problem.
Gee whiz.
That's why I'm here.
Gee
He said,
whiz,
gee
Chris.
whiz.
I like that.
Golly geez. Shucks. All right, man.
All right, man.
Jeepers.
So, man, sing, O barren, that thou didst not bear. Break forth into singing and cry aloud that thou that didst not travail
So,
with child.
whenever y'all said did, just say did.
All right,
And if you
cool.
say thou, if that's confusing you, just say you.
We're trying to sound proper.
Well, I'm just saying that's what it
Yeah.
is. It's thou is you, and didst is just did.
All
They just
right,
add the
cool.
extra letters to try to confuse. It's
Okay.
just old English.
Thou that did not travail with child, for more are the children of the desolate than the children of the married wife, saith the Lord. Enlarge the place of thy tent, and let them stretch forth the curtains of thine habitations. Spare not, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. For you shall break forth on the right hand and on the left, and thou seed shall inherit the Gentiles.
That's Nahala again. That's the
Yeah.
word Nahala. You should
Yeah.
inherit. This is our covenant.
Inheritance,
Mhm.
yeah, and make the desolate cities to be inhabited.
Because this is a future prophecy of when we go back into the land. Right? Keep going.
Fear not, for you shall not be ashamed, neither be you confounded, for you shall not be put to shame, for you shall forget the shame of thy youth, and shalt not remember the reproach of thy widowhood anymore.
So, the thing about Nahala is like we're in this state, right? A perpetual reproach. Like we're proverbs, we're bywords, we're niggas,
Yeah.
we're all this and that, right? We have all these generational curses, this and that. But according to Isaiah 54, we're supposed to put off the old things because we're coming into a new thing that's going to be so great that we're not going to remember this stuff anymore. That's what he's trying to get them to understand it and really cleave to their Nahala. That's something that's coming. To something to try to help you build your faith, to keep you going, right? All right, what was you going to say?
I'm wondering who he was talking to, or who this was talking to, because it's talking about somebody being barren. It talks basically it's like talking to a woman.
Woman, yeah.
Because
yeah.
Israel is a woman,
Yeah.
the wife of the Most High, or the wife of Yahushua.
Right.
Keep going, Jeremiah.
For thy maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth shall he be called.
Because he will once we get put back in our right place this next time, right? Keep going.
For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit,
Answer your question.
and a wife of youth, when thou wast refused,
Just was.
saith
You
thy
took the
God.
T off. Yep.
For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I
With
gather
great
thee.
kased, because that's mercy. That's why we have to yada mercy. We have to know mercy. Go ahead.
It's the prophets of the Messiah coming. One that like kind of sort of, because like you said, he gonna pretty much, they're gonna be barren and not producing, and he's gonna bring them back
Even when the
together.
Messiah comes, technically we're already supposed to be in the land before he comes, technically. So I don't know how exactly that's
No,
going
I'm talking about the Messiah, the first account of him coming, like to gather everybody back. If we was talking about the Gentiles and all that.
I don't think this is that one because all of the people didn't come back even then.
You said Israel is like God's wife, is what you said?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard it like that.
He just said it.
No, I'm talking about. This is my first time ever hearing that before. Like
Gotcha.
that,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Because even when the kingdom of Israel split into two, kingdom of Judah and kingdom of Israel,
Yeah.
they were both technically his wife. But yeah, Israel is the wife of the Most High.
Is that where?
Yahushua.
Is that where it comes that we can have multiple wives? Like is that like?
I'm really not trying to get on that.
Because they did back in the day.
Yeah, I mean,
Some people still do.
it's lawful,
Yeah.
but it's not expedient if you can't govern one household.
Yeah.
So everything that's lawful is not expedient. So if you can't even govern one household, you got no business trying to.
Wife as your paycheck allows you to.
Yeah. Your paycheck and then your demeanor, because like that multiple wives, that's some work. Because then you still got to be the good steward of both. Not only do you have to feed, clothe, water, all that, you also have to raise them in righteousness.
Yeah.
You know, so out of multiple households, like it's not just I'm gonna go shack up with everybody. No, that's not
And
it.
there's soul tie
Because-
that you got to deal with.
Well,
So
then
you
how
got to be
can it
mature
be
enough to
indulgent
deal
if
with that.
you can have multiple wives?
That's why I said
Right.
we
We gotta talk
can.
about this. I need to
No,
know.
we'll talk
talk
about
about
this
after
after this. 'Cause that ain't what we came here for today.
I need
Right.
to know.
I got you. We'll talk about this after this. That ain't it. But keep
I need to
going.
know my
Yeah. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment. But with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, said the Lord thy Redeemer.
This is our Nahala. Everything that he's saying, right? Okay.
For this is as the waters of Noah unto me.
So who can tell me about the waters of Noah? What did he say?
That was deep.
Okay, of course they were deep, but what's the covenant of the rainbow?
It won't do
Oh,
it
he won't
again.
do
We'll do it again.
That's what he's talking about right here, as the waters of Noah. Keep going.
All right. For as I have sworn that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee, nor rebuke thee.
That's why I said this is not in the Messiah's time,
Gotcha.
because this is a future thing. So when this happens, he's not going to be wroth with us no more. So again, we're learning about our Nahala. Keep going.
For the mountains shall depart, and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee, neither shall the covenant of my peace be removed, saith the Lord that have mercy on thee.
So that the Most High, who has kased on us, right? He said that this is the covenant of peace. Now we just read in Deuteronomy 5 what we have to do for the Most High to show mercy to thousands of those that love Him and keep His commandments. But this is our heritage. This is our inheritance. This is our Nahala. Go ahead.
This what we gonna get.
This is how you stay at the brook. Keep going.
O thou afflicted, tossed with tempest, and not comforted, behold, I will lay thy stones with fair colors, and lay thy foundations with sapphires.
So He's going to give us the best of the best, the best of
riches.
everything.
Yeah.
Anything that you could think of, He's going to give it to us, right? Go ahead.
And I will make thy windows of agates, and thy gates of carbuncles, and all thy borders of pleasant stone.
Best of the best, right? Go ahead.
And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy
So,
children.
because we're going to be raising them in righteousness. And then read the next verse.
Yeah, in righteousness shalt thou be established. Thou shalt be far from oppression, for thou shalt not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near thee.
But this is our Nahala. This is what we got to cling to. This is what we got to be focused on in this day. Because remember, we're in two ages right now. Which one are we going? Are we going to stay in the age of deception, or are we going to live in the age of obedience? Because in obedience is our Nahala. This is our salvation. This is what's to come. This is what we got to stay focused on. Right? Keep going.
Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake.
Isn't that what we read in Psalms 23?
Yeah.
He's going to prepare a table before us in the presence of our
Our
enemies.
enemies.
That's why it's our Nahala. And if we're being obedient, if we're staying at the brook, if we're doing the things that we're supposed to do, when they gather against us, it's not going to prosper. 1,000 shall fall at that side, and 10,000 at your right hand, right? Okay, keep going.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy.
Sounds like he made a really dope sword.
Exactly. He did.
A killer sword.
Now finish it off, Jeremiah, because this is the one that we like. This is our bedrock from
I
Isaiah
was just thinking
54.
about that off the last verse.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment.
In
thou
what?
shalt-
In what?
Judgment.
In what?
In judgment.
But a lot of times people think that they can judge everybody.
Yeah.
Even though he that is spiritual judgeth all things, but you have to have, what was that word that I made? Discernment.
Yeah. Discernment.
Obedience is discernment. You got to know when to judge and when to just like, that's why Yusuf was like, oh, what, nobody's judged you? Woman that was caught in that very act of adultery, well, I don't judge you guilty either. Discernment. That's what separates everybody right now. Discernment.
I didn't know that was the disobedience.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so more of a lesson I'm trying to learn. Rather. Okay, so Wednesday, kids went to church with my mom. Right, they were at her house earlier, clean clothes, whatever. My dad gave them ice cream. My son's 4 years old, so
Yep.
on his face, on his shirt, whatever.
Right.
My mom said that I needed to try to force me to take them home, get them some new clean clothes, to let them go get dirty in for 2 hours. No,
Okay, so
I'm
you're
not
going
having
back to honor that father and that mother again.
There's all of that, right? So where this plays a part in it is I was raised on what people are going to think about you. And I don't care. I never did. Even as a child, I never cared what people thought about me. However, when it comes to the argument that I have with my mom, it was, Mama, he's 4. Y'all should have never gave him ice cream. I'm not gonna go home. I'm not gonna drive across town to pick out a pair of clothes for him to wear for 2 hours. Because now that pair that he could have wore tomorrow is gonna get dirty,
Right.
and I'm gonna have to wash that as well.
Mm-hmm.
No, and she got mad and started yelling at me, and I won't say what I said, but I went off. I snapped.
Well, repent
And,
apologize, but yeah. Tell her not to disrespect you either, though, in a polite way.
We've talked since then, and I told her, I apologize for how I said it. I don't apologize for what I said, but how I said it.
Right.
However, my question is, it talks about, every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment. Well, the church that they attend is full of old people, old ways, judgment. Well, my son don't have a suit. My son ain't gonna wear a suit. I mean, I'll put him in one. I like the way he looks in suits, but I'm not about to go out my way when I could just go get him some khakis and a nice shirt and call it a day. But they're like, he needs a suit. I'm like, you're judging. And my mom, see, this could go on forever, but the point I'm trying to make is, was I wrong? I feel like the whole honor thy mother and thy father thing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a grown man now. And I have
That's
my
what
own
I was going to say.
I have my own family now.
Right. So now they got to honor you. So
Okay.
Okay, so here's another thing. Like, with respect, you can tell, like you said, it's a scripture in Maccabees, we was talking about this earlier, that even if you're right, you can never disrespect an elder.
Yep. Gotta watch that.
You gotta watch what you say. Even if you're right. Say, friends, especially with the thing we're talking about scripture, but say, friends, you want to tell them, hey, this is what scripture says about this. If they say no, you tell them, but it's you're not being righteous, or you're not doing what the Most High wants if you yourself disrespect that elder. So it's pretty much like you tell them, they're going to do what they do, you go on about your business.
So even if you're right, you're not right.
Even if you're right.
Right.
No,
because you can be right, but if you come off and go off on in the wrong spirit.
Yeah, the wrong spirit. So
now what you do is how you
about
do
the obedience and about the discernment, that's where that comes into play.
It's all
And that's
about,
not even just to elders, that's to everybody, because you're still not supposed to
Right.
offend a brother or offend a sister either. So we kind of have to be mindful of how we're lashing out, because that means that these people actually have control over us. We gave them the remote to control us.
But yeah.
We got to take that remote back.
That's tough.
You see what I'm saying?
You gotta remember that any situation that we go through and how we are approached and how we approach others, we're still that image that our Father wants us to be. So if you're like me, like I remember I was like, well, I haven't texted anybody yet because I need to make sure my spirit man is okay and all right to deal with it or approach it. That way I can come correctly with that person and not be out of character or out of what the Father wants me to be. So you really have to pick and choose, especially when it comes to your kids. Like, how am I going to approach the situation? Am I doing it how I want to do it, or am I doing it how our Father wants me to handle the situation? I would have been like, okay, Mom, no disrespect, but if you can't take them now, I'm just going to take my kids and go back home respectfully.
That's what I did.
And just leave it at that and let her figure out, okay, where she was wrong at, etc., and then just
I said,
not
and
even bother with it
I
anymore.
quote myself. I said, Mom, I said, if him having ice cream on his shirt, which isn't a very big stain, I said, but his face is clean, his hands are clean, he can wash their face. I said, if him having ice cream on his shirt doesn't fit your agenda for how he should look when he's only going to go learn a song and then come home. He's going to learn a song and he's going to eat, which is going to get dirty again, and then come home, then we'll go home. And so I drove home. I went home, and she kept asking me, am I going to bring them? And I said, no, you can come get them. But they're wearing the same thing they were wearing earlier. You can either deal with that and be happy with it, or you can be mad at me and, you know, stay in your part of it. Stay where you are, you know. And I've told my kids, one more outburst like this, and y'all will not be going back to that church. For the simple fact that I don't feel my kids should be fearful of what other people think about them. Live your life the way you know you should. Be who you know you should be. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. The only people you need to please is the Most High.
Facts.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, the trying of us all getting tried, when it's not actually the situation that people bring to us, it's actually our reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what we got to be careful of, because people are always going to bring us situations.
Yeah.
That's just the circle of life. But you don't know, because we all have lights that's shining in front of people. And you know what? Even though they'll never admit it, I don't care if they're older than you, they get jealous of that.
Yeah.
So they want to keep trying you. And we're going to learn about that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
I promise y'all. Jamal, finish this up. I promise you. That's why we got to stay at the brook. Go ahead.
All right. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage.
The what?
A heritage.
What was the actual word, though?
Nahala.
Nahala.
Well, Nahala, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord.
So this is our heritage. This is our power. This is a part of the kingdom of heaven. This is a part of the key of David. But we don't understand these things, right? We don't realize that, man, this is really it's my heritage to actually, like, succeed over my enemies. For anybody raising up, like, anything against me, it's literally my heritage. I just don't claim it. I don't have the understanding of it. I don't have the knowledge of it. But we're learning the stuff now, right?
My people shall perish for the lack of.
For the lack of knowledge, right?
What you said.
But that's why in this day and in this time, we got to be rooted in Yahuah-Yireh, right? If you know it, bam, don't say it. But what is Yahuah-Yireh? Yeah, it's that one, but it's actually Yahuah-Yireh.
Provider.
Okay, you're right. You're right. So the word is ra'ah. So the Hebrew word, it says see, look, behold, show, appear. He considers you, right? But in Genesis 22, verse 14, it says, and Abraham called the name of that place Yahuah-Yireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of Yahuwah it shall be provided. He is our provider for anything and everything. That's why we got to understand our Nahala, because this is our, I'll call it our power, our ability, because we become sons of the Most High, right? And He wills that we may always prosper. He's looking out for you. He wants to give us the desires of our hearts. What's up?
I hear the word mount pop up quite often.
It just
And
means mountain.
it's always, He's there. So it kind of makes me beg the question, did He just appear in mountains where people could go see Him back in the day?
There are specific mountains where He makes His presence known. Yes, absolutely.
Very well.
Absolutely.
Field trip.
Mount Moriah, Mount
Sinai.
Sinai, yeah.
Vesuvius.
Mount Horeb,
Vesuvius.
Yeah.
You talking about the Olympic?
No, Mount Vesuvius.
Pompeii.
Oh, he
Vesuvius,
made himself
Mount-
very known.
That's the Greek stuff, ain't it?
Yeah, that's that mountain, the
That
volcano.
killed all the
Yeah,
people
yeah, I
in
remember.
Pompeii.
So what he's saying is that was the Most High making himself known by destroying all the people. Is what he's saying, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Can a man serve two masters?
Negative Ghost Rider.
No, you cannot.
That's why I don't serve.
What does that mean?
Depends on how you want to look at it. Two masters, like, you know what I mean? Just depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
But you can't serve more than one guy. You know that for sure.
Right. Master, could you read this? we're going to Matthew 6. And we're going to read verses 22
Why?
through
Why are you
24.
feeding into this?
Hey, the manservant's supposed to be taking a rest too.
Oh, that's funny.
Whatever. Man, he's the one be working people.
Light body.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about you, light body.
Oh gosh, really?
Here you go again. So the light body, light bright.
The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light.
Somebody tell me what that means.
long as you can see, you still shine.
Boy,
light.
you way off. Next.
I'm not even gonna make an attempt.
Oh, like your eyes is your windows to your soul.
So what does that mean?
Okay,
Okay,
your eyes is windows to your soul. Like,
Master, read the next verse. Read the next verse.
But if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?
Go
I
ahead.
think I got it. So, he says that I be single, focused on one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It should be full of light. Well, the right thing. I'm gonna say that. Is that right?
one right
So
thing.
stay at
Focus.
the brook.
Yeah.
He told us what to do, to be obedient,
Mhm.
right? He's been giving all of us here different instructions or words. Do what he's telling you to do. I don't know exactly what he's been telling all of us, but I know some of us in there, he's kind of been like really tugging at us, and we're not fully giving it the attention that we're supposed to be giving it to. But it's that time. Because I wasn't even gonna go over this until this morning. Again, like you just be changing stuff. I'm like, okay, but all of us here, there's something that we're all supposed to be doing. Even if maybe we made a promise to the Most High that we're gonna read the Bible, or that we're gonna read with our family, or that we're gonna pray, or we're just gonna do things differently to please Him. Somebody in here has been doing that. I'm just saying. Read the next verse.
No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
And mammon, right. So mammon is technically money. But
Okay.
so right now, with this information age, it's so easy to just listen to anybody and everybody on the medias. We'll just call them the medias. Everybody and every word on there is not for you. You can't serve two. So you need to start weeding out who you do not need to be listening to. Because again, this battle that's going on with a lot of people is because they got all these different words in them, and then they don't have, they can't discern when the Most High is trying to tell you, I need to leave this be. Like, this ain't for me. Like, this for real ain't for me. Like, this is the time, though. Because we going to learn today, which I know we've gone over some of this before, what happens when you lean onto your own understanding and you listen to people that you ain't got no business listening to.
You get confused, and then you just start doubting all the words that you even heard.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really important that when our spirit man is telling us something, that we part even how, whatever comfortable or whatever you feel like you're in that area. I mean, it's really, you have to listen to the spirit man when they're telling you, hey, I need you to come over here. Because when I left where I was at, it wasn't comfortable for me to leave. I was like, are you sure about this? Like, I'm feeling like I'm doing wrong by leaving the church where I was at. But my spirit man was not comfortable anymore. My spirit man knew that I wasn't growing. And I was just like, okay, well, I'm going to listen. And that's literally, once I listened, I got away and I started reading and worshiping and literally praying for that understanding and wisdom. Everything just came into play. And then maybe 2 months later, that's when you reached out to me. And I was just like, I know where I'm supposed to be. And so if we don't listen, we're never going to get to where we are at to even serve him like we should be.
Yeah.
Obedience.
Because I done told you before, man. It's on you. You've been called. I didn't tell you before. Jeremiah, as a child, we were both called as a child. And Brandon, you got a lot of healing that you got to do. I don't know why I keep hearing that whenever I see you. You got a lot of healing from some stuff from the past that you got to do. But it's time to let it go. Forgive. I don't know if it's yourself. I don't know what it is. Bam, and you got some stuff from your childhood. You still got to let go. That's got to go before it gets passed on to the next generation.
Oh, yeah.
That's
It's got to go.
serious.
But it's that time. It's the time for the next step, the next stage.
And it's not comfortable, and that's the thing.
It's not. It's not going to be comfortable.
But it's worth it, though, in the end of the day. Because I remember, like, when we was transitioning, it was around the Christmas time. And I was so big. I loved that holiday. I was just like, yeah. But I was just like, we're not doing it this year. And the kids were like, what? And I'm like, we're not putting up a tree. I'm like, I have to be obedient. And no matter how hard it was for me, I was like, we have to listen. And from that point, we just started listening and started getting rid of the stuff we don't need. And, okay, we're not going to do this. And, I mean, as it came easy. Like he said, my burden is light. So once you transition and really start listening, and he'll show you how faithful he is to you as long as you're faithful to him and his word. But it got easier as I went. So, and I do struggle some things as we learn, because we don't know everything. And so when I do learn something new, it's hard to get out of that comfortable way. And you're just like, oh man, okay. Well, let's take baby steps. Like he said, you got to start with the milk first. And then once you get out for that and you go to the meat, that's how I look at it. It's like once you get to a certain point, then you know, okay, I can't go back to the milk. I'm already on the meat. So what's the point of going backwards?
And then, like, repenting, because we'll fall into the snares and traps. We all do it.
Yeah.
And it'd be the same stuff that's happened a long time ago. But if you keep getting up, you're going to stop going back into it. I mean, we all have things that we got to work on.
Every day.
Scripture said, just man follow 7 times.
And then what happened?
You gotta keep back up.
Boy, you get up. The enduring into the end so that you can be saved. In your patience, you possess your soul. So sometimes it's a patient walk. It's like, okay, I'm struggling with this. I'm just going to lean on you. Bird box it. I'm just going to bird box it because I walk by faith and not by sight. Like sometimes that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
Because we don't know the way to go. So now we're going to get into the heart of the word today. We're going to go to 1 Kings 17. And Brandon, if you don't mind, would you read that?
Elijah and Tishbite.
The Tishbite,
as you were. Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, as the Lord God of Israel liveth before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there.
Now remember, today's all about staying at the brook. You got to stay at the brook. So Elijah's a prophet in his day, right? Ahab is the king. Now, why is Elijah telling the king that it's not going to rain until he prays about it? Or the question I'm actually asking is, why did Elijah pray to the Most High to have a drought?
To get the attention of the king. Something I can think of. If the king wasn't doing what he's supposed to do and the land was falling anyway, then the only way to do it is to get the attention. And the only way to get the attention is to have the Most High do it himself.
Yep. So we're actually, because I'm going to continue to show y'all through history, because I'm going back to Flavius Josephus, The Antiquity of the Jews, Book 8, Chapter 13. And so it's going to give you a little bit more context of why all of a sudden Elijah pops on the scene and he's like, hey, it ain't going to rain until I say so. Because, I'm that, I'm him.
I'm him.
I'm him.
That's my new thing.
You know what I'm talking about?
Him.
Okay, so, Bam, if you don't mind, read this for me.
You can't even see that.
Yeah, you're going to have to get up close to the screen, please. Thank you. Thank you, kind
I
sir.
need you to work on your font, buddy.
Oh, man, it's just like the stuff be so much.
I know, I see.
Now Ahab, the king of Israel, dwelt in Samaria and held the government for 22 years and made no alteration in the conduct of the kings that were his predecessors, but only in such things as were as of his own invention for the worse. And in his most gross, in his most gross wickedness, he imitated them in the water, imitated them in their wicked courses, and in their injurious behavior towards God.
So are we supposed to be doing anything that's going to be that would injure the Most High?
No.
So, okay. Keep going.
You can't
That can
anyway.
injure.
Boy, I mean, we made him repent that he created man.
Yeah,
You don't think that grieved him?
Whoa, what?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
can of
the
worms.
script.
Worms can. Just leave it there.
Okay, injuries.
He ignores that.
And most especially, he imitated the transgression of Jeroboam.
So that was his father.
Why are you imitating them in transgression?
Now,
That's the bad part.
This is how you know the children of Israel never really left Egypt from their kings. So his father was doing this. Now read the next sentence.
For he worshipped the heifers that he had made.
What's a heifer?
A cow. For the female cow.
Isn't that what the children of Israel erected, the golden calf? Y'all seen the
Yes,
Ten
they
Commandments?
did.
Yeah.
Yes,
So this is probably hundreds of years later, and then they still doing the same thing.
Because insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Hey, Jeroboam is whose son? Abraham's son?
One of David's sons.
Or David's son?
Or Solomon's son, I think. King Solomon. He was
So, dang, they still doing this?
boy.
And it's-
They doing
Passed down tradition.
Chicago
You know,
Traditions of man. Yep.
the heifer that he had made, and he contrived other absurd.
Boy.
He
objects.
also took his wife.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
Where do you get that?
Yeah, those heifers,
That's
he
on the
also
Bible.
was right next
That's
to
on
it.
the
No,
gosh.
I
Okay.
done went down one. My bad.
Oh my gosh,
We
we're
all
so
tripping.
lost. And most especially being told about transgressions,
For he worshipped
worship
the
the
heifers that he had made. And he controlled. No, you're actually right, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 Man, y'all got me
Yeah, man.
tripping.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I'm just trying
wrong.
to pay attention to these small lines.
And he contrived other absurd objects of worship besides those heifers. He also took.
So that's contrived. So he created even more objects for them to worship. Now we just read in Deuteronomy 5. What are we not supposed to be doing?
Make
Any
any
Making
graven
any
graven
graven
image.
images.
Any
From
into
the, from
thing.
the sky to the water to all that.
From the rooter to the tutor.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And then that's what he's doing.
From the rooter to
That's what he's
tutor.
implementing in the kingdom of the Most High.
Like I said, the cross, I can't get over their cross,
Yeah.
them Jesus pictures.
Boy, and pieces and all that stuff.
Man,
The rosaries and all that stuff. Like, why are you worshiping this stuff?
What's a white Jesus picture? What kills me?
Talking about Borgia.
Oh, Cesare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
keep going, man.
A little
And
sweet
he,
side. Okay.
he also took to wife the daughter
No,
of
say it's Eth Baal.
Etbal.
So
Etbal.
Baal,
Where is it?
like
We know-
Baal.
we know-
Like the demon.
Ball.
Baal is
Baal?
what? Yeah,
Baal.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He got
So-
name.
The Lord of
So-
Fire.
So he also took the wife, the daughter of Ethbal. So that was a man named Ethbal. He took to wife his daughter. Would you want to marry a woman that had that on her name?
But and it's crazy because even back in that time, those names had meaning. Those names meant something.
Yeah,
it wasn't
demonic.
just.
It wasn't
it
just a
sounded
word.
cute.
Demonic.
If you said a word that said somebody's name back then, it was like me calling you Manny. Manny means many men. So if I said Manny in a
Was
sentence, it'd be
definitely
many
that.
men. You know what I'm saying? So in a hypothetical, well, not hypothetical, but in a freaking very real sense, her name meant something.
Yeah,
Right.
female
That's
demon.
why it's so important for us to call upon the name of our
Female
Father.
demon.
Father.
And to be careful what you name your children.
Yes.
Sheesh.
Glad I made their names up.
King of the tyrants. That's what? Tyrants.
Yeah.
And Sidonians.
Zidonian. So remember Tyre and Zidon. So he married a woman from where?
Tyre and Sidon.
Right. So this is what the king did, right? Okay. Pay attention. Okay.
Whose name was Jezebel. So he married Jezebel?
Mhm.
Ooh. Well, you,
Yes,
Not
you
a
tough.
Jezebel. He
The
married
Jezebel. The
He
Jezebel.
married the OG Jezebel.
Yeah. No,
With
Sheba
her
OG.
trifling stuff.
Sheba OG. We know
Oh
about
yeah, Queen
Sheba.
Sheba.
Oh no, she's the more tolerable one. Queen Sheba.
Oh,
She's
who
more
we
tolerable
married?
than Jezebel?
That's what they said. She's a more tolerable Jezebel.
Oh,
Y'all don't. Well, go back to that Stranger Things. Yeah, that stuff was crazy.
of whom he learned to worship their own God. So he doing exactly what. So you said this is Solomon's grandkids.
Solomon's son, I want to say.
Solomon's son.
So he was there to see.
So he doing exactly what he did.
Yeah. You're right. Solomon's grandkid. Right. Yep.
Wow.
But
Anyway,
kind
learn
of started
to
with
worship
Solomon. Though.
Generational curses.
Third
Yeah.
and fourth generation, because
Yeah.
Solomon
Yeah.
started it.
That's not
That's what I'm
generational
saying.
curse. That's generational stupidity.
That's what the curse
These
is.
people are doing
Oh,
it to
stupidity is a
themselves.
curse. Stupidity
I
is
mean-
most
It's part of
definitely a
the
curse.
Yeah, look at. I mean, it's happening to this day.
Yeah.
To this very. Anyway, learn to worship their own gods. This woman was attractive and bold.
Active, not
Oh.
attractive.
I put an R in there. Which is as you were.
Deja vu.
Active and bold, and fell into so great of a degree of impurity,
Mhm.
and madness, that she built a temple to the god of the tyrants,
Mm-hmm.
which they call, what's the word?
Bellis.
Bellis, and planted a grove of all sorts of all sorts of trees.
So, y'all realize that there's a lot of churches called like Pleasant Grove or this isn't that.
Yeah.
Shady grove.
Y'all know that goes to Ashtaroth, right?
Wow.
Or Baal.
The meaning behind words.
And people don't even be realizing that.
Because they don't research.
Yeah.
They just go from
Or
hearsay.
blood bought church. Or
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
traditions
flat
are
out
passed
church.
down, and they don't want to break that tradition, and they're scared to just look somewhere else. And when somebody brings us something, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to hear that. That's blasphemous." Okay,
And it's
well, I told
like-
you.
They
Bye.
don't even know what blasphemy means.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, real talk. People don't know what blasphemy means.
Real quick, where was Macedonia? Like, was it a
Asia
healthy,
Minor?
healing place? That, like, you know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
there, we had Israelites there. We mean a healthy healing place.
I'm saying, like, I'm trying to.
You like, it's a holy place? Is
My
that what you're
brain is starting to
asking?
shut down. So, was it like a place where the Most High wasn't trying to show wrath?
Where do we get on Macedonia?
Because that's the name of the church that my mom would go to, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna take my kids out.
Yeah, by the projects, by Walmart.
sorry.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later. Let's
Yes.
Larry Smith still the pastor out there.
Oh
all
God!
right.
You guys are gonna fly us.
Innocent.
Also some trees. She also appointed priests and false prophets to this.
Pay
God.
attention. She did what?
Anointed priests and false prophets.
And false what?
prophets.
False what?
Prophets
Remember that. It's gonna come later on.
to this God. The king also himself had many such about him. And so exceeded in madness and wickedness all the kings they went before him.
So he became the most wicked king.
That's
So
crazy.
this dude, whose grandfather
Solomon.
was one of the coldest in the Bible,
Mhm.
went and just
Redid what he did, pretty much.
Yeah, because
I mean,
Solomon's
like-
end was a lot like what he's doing. at this
Solomon was the
point.
one who was able to talk to the demons and have the demons build the
Yeah,
temple.
yeah. We're gonna get back on that. Yeah, y'all gonna see what he ended up getting into. But yeah. So now we're gonna jump back to 1 Kings. I'm gonna read this slide, verses 5-8. So he went and did according unto the word of Yahuah. This is talking about Elijah. Remember, the Most High told him to go, right, to a brook, right, to be sustained. That's why this lesson is to stay at the brook. For he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith, that is before Jordan. Now, Cherith actually means cutting. So he went to a place of cutting. You remember, the Most High, he cut the water off, right? And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning. Did y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That don't sound wild to y'all?
that is great. Ravens.
Not
That's
to me.
that's
The
an evil
ravens brought
bird,
him
man.
bread and flesh.
That's one of the worst
It's
birds
raven
ever.
bird.
Yes.
And bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. So when people we're doing Stranger Things and talking about the crazy stuff that Solomon's doing, I'm like, the Most High, he
Ravens are
literally
evil, bro.
ordained ravens to bring him bread and flesh. Not fruit, flesh.
Meats.
But
Meat.
I mean, flesh is meat. All it is like a ripped up ox or a
Right.
cow or a bull or.
But like for the time period that he was there, the Most High said, these ravens are going to feed you. Though you ain't got to worry about nothing. Because he is Yahuah-Yireh, which means what?
He gonna provide.
Provider.
He's our provider. As long as we do what? Stay at the brook. Because that's where he's at. He's at the brook. And it's not going to rain until he gives the word to the Most High, right? Okay, then it says, and it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up. Okay. Because there had been no rain in the land. So there's no rain because of Elijah's prayer. And the word of Yahuwah came unto him saying,
That's crazy. Go ahead. No, Mike. I just got an epiphany.
say what you got to say. Go ahead.
So he told him to stay at the brook because he knew he probably gonna dry it up. So if you there at the source, over there, already probably be dried up and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he letting them go through what they going through while you still got a water
Why
source.
you good? Yeah, you good.
Dang.
Because he's Yahuah-Yireh. He's going to provide
provider.
for you. Now, it's titled Stay at the Brook, and he stayed out the brook, and now the brook dried up. So now let's see what happens next, right? So, verse 9, arise, get thee to Zarephath, which means refinery, which belongeth to Zidon, and dwell there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee. So I had a raven for you.
They got a woman.
Now I got the plug. I got this old lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to this old lady and you're gonna be straight, so don't even worry about it.
Better not be raving.
Say what?
It's a good-
So remember, stay at the brook, right? So he arose and went to Zarephath, and when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there of gatherings of sticks. And he called to her and said, fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel, that I may drink. So he's like, hey man, can you give me something to wet my whistle? And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thine hand. Now pay attention. And she said, as Yahuah thy Elohim liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and
Die.
die.
Wow.
Dang.
And
I thought this story was in the New Testament.
that's in the Ode and die, right? So I'm gonna finish this off with this slide. And Eliyahu, or Elijah, said unto her, fear not, go and do as thou hast said, but make me thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me, and after make for you and your son, thy son. For thus saith Yahuah Elohim of Yasharal, the bearer of meal shall not waste, neither shall the cruse of oil fail, until the day that Yahuah sendeth rain upon the earth. So she's letting this dude know, look, man,
We about to die.
yeah, man, I got enough for me and my son. I'm gonna cook this up real good.
We're gonna die.
We'll have one last supper.
Yeah, it's gonna be the last
How
supper.
did she
Last
know
supper
that they were
for
gonna
real.
die though?
Because they've been doing bad.
Because they didn't have no more food. They didn't have no more money.
Starving.
So she's telling him, hey, I know you want water and food, but we about to die.
I got 2 sticks.
Yeah, I just got to make sure my son, I want him to have a good meal before he
Yeah.
gon' be with the Most High. Right, now this is called stay at the brook. So in this case, Elijah went to the brook, and now y'all about to see how he became the brook. So he's the brook. So what would happen? What do you think is getting ready to happen?
Pretty much anything he said gonna come into pass.
He gonna feed them.
He's gonna be the reason why they get water back and all that stuff, the rain and all that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but he told King Ned already from get.
Yeah, so that,
So
okay.
it's actually gonna happen though. Yeah, he's actually gonna show, you know what I mean?
So we're going to find out if she has faith or not, right?
She probably don't, 'cause she just met the guy.
And she went and did according to the saying of Eliyahu, and she and he and her house did eat many days. So because she had that mustard seed of faith to listen to the man of the Most High,
Good bit.
so Elijah became the brook, right? And the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of Yahuah which he spake by Elijah. Now we're going to jump back to get a little bit more context to Antiquity of the Jews, books 8, chapter 13.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm going to read this one. I'm going to read this one. Y'all can relax. I'm going to read this one.
You sure? I thought it was like a
Oh,
big
hey.
one.
Really?
sweetheart.
A big one came
Oh.
push the door.
And it says, for as his food, ravens brought it to him every day, it doesn't say, but when that river was dried up for want of rain, he came to Zarephath, a city not far from Sidon, and where?
Tyree.
We talked about that earlier. Who was from Tyre? Jezebel. So then the Most High sends him to a place right in between both of them, almost like, yeah, we about to war against these, like this woman and this Elohim that they're with, right? So,
You can come over here.
yeah, come over here. For it lay between them, and at this time the command of Eliyahu, for Eliyahu told him that he should there find a woman who was a widow that should give him sustenance. So when he was not far off of the city, he saw a woman that labored with her own hands, gathering of sticks. So Eliyahu informed him that this was the woman who was to give him sustenance. So he came and saluted her and desired her to bring him some water. That's what we just read, to drink. But as she was going to do so, or so to do, he called to her and would have her bring him a loaf of bread also. Whereupon she affirmed upon oath, so she swore to him, that she had at home nothing more than one handful of meal and a little bit of oil, and that she was going to gather some sticks that she might knead it and make bread for herself and her son. After which she said they must perish. Why would they perish? And be consumed by the famine. So like, yeah, we're going to eat it and die. For they had nothing for themselves any longer. Hereupon he said, now this is what the men of Eliyahu do. Go on with good courage, have faith, and hope for better things. You got to have that hope. You got to have that mustard seed of faith. You got to stay at the brook for better things. And first of all, make me a little cake and bring it to your boy. Bring it to me. For I foretell thee, I'm speaking things that are not as though they were, that this vessel of meal and this cruse of oil shall not fail until God or Lord send rain. When the prophet had said this, she came to him and made him the before, excuse me, named cakes of which she had part for herself. But y'all know the rest of this, my bad. Back to 17. Bam, I need some water. My bad. Go ahead.
And it came to pass after these things that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick, and his sickness was so sore that there was no breath left in him. Dang, so this is that account. I didn't know that was the same story. Okay.
Go ahead.
And she said unto Elijah, what have I do with thee, O thou man of God? Art thou come unto me to call my sin to remembrance and to slay my son? So she thought he was coming to punish her.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto her, give me thy son. And he took him out of her bosom and carried him into a loft, where he abode and lay upon his own bed.
Go ahead.
This was let me finish. And he cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, hast thou not brought evil upon the widow with whom I sojourn by slaying her son?
So he became the brook. So what do you think would happen if she would have kicked him out after like the food kept going?
It would have stopped.
Yeah.
They would have been.
Like his
It'd been
son
over
would
with.
have died.
Yeah.
You said the food would have stopped.
Yeah.
And the son, well, technically it said when no breath left him, so the son still died.
Right.
He stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried unto the Lord and said, O Lord my God, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again. The Lord heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again, and he revived. And Elijah took the child and brought him down out of the chamber into the house and delivered him into his mother. Elijah said, see, thy son liveth. The woman said to Elijah, now by this I know that thou art a man of God, and the word of the Lord in thy mouth is true.
Now, does that make sense to y'all?
Not at all.
It wasn't until he saved her son's life.
Yeah, no, I'm saying so.
But he had already saved her son's life.
Yeah.
First time, yeah, for real.
Did he not?
Yeah.
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 He saved both of their lives.
Yeah.
By being the
They were about to die. After that food, they were going to eat a little small
So
portion of food.
okay, so maybe I missed something.
Maybe she thought he had
You
a
okay?
pouch.
Yeah.
He
that's
always
gonna be
does it when
hydrated.
I don't know what it is, but
You
when you be
might be
reading,
hydrated.
you always be
Maybe
choking.
Maybe I
on
missed something, but did either the son or the mom, did they have doubt or something?
See, I was just.
I mean-
She had to.
The mama probably
mama
had
did.
The
that.
mama, of course, she had that.
What would you do if a stranger walked up into your house and asked you to feed him, and y'all was about to starve, and y'all
To death.
knew it was your last meal?
Yeah.
I mean, you gonna have faith in that
It's
person
on-
right
it's
off
on
I don't have to
ten?
deal
Well,
with
see,
strangers now, so
Here's the
But
thing.
that's the
understandable,
thing.
yeah.
Like, put
Here's
yourself
the
in that
thing.
situation.
Y'all ain't peeping when he was like, she had that mustard seed faith.
Yeah.
The thing about the mustard seed faith,
It's
you don't
a little
go
small.
you don't keep it that way.
And you ain't gotta necessarily believe it either. It's just like, well, he said to do it, I'll do it. Sometimes the
You
Most
gotta
High just
move-
gonna
yeah,
show you.
He gonna show you
Choose
And
something.
a lot of times,
Obedient.
because our people still won't believe it.
Yeah.
Thank you. And like you say, obedience. So you keep being obedient. Because I used to hear mustard seed all the time, mustard seed all the time. And I'm like, little bit. So all you gotta do is have a little bit of faith, God gonna do the rest. However,
There's one.
you have to nourish that mustard seed. You have to grow. You have to obey. So the Most High. So what happened? She wasn't faithful. She had doubt. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, of course.
And this the Most High working. And it's so amazing because I didn't know this at first. Like I said, I didn't know the same account. But he's working through her doubt, like you said, because the mustard seed faith kept her there. But the obedience, you know what I mean? So by the obedience, she was blessed. But she still was doubtful. But now, the Most High had to work another miracle through the brook just to show her, I am who I say I am.
Now her
That's what I
faith
took
is-
out of it. I don't know if anybody
And now
else
her
got
faith
that.
is grown, and
Her
that's
faith
in
is
all of our
grown.
situations, though, because you might have a situation where, you know, you're believing something, and you're just like, well, I just need you to show me something, and then the Father says, let me just activate your faith. Like my faith got activated with a free cup of coffee. I kid you not. And from that day forward, I was like, you know what, Father, let's do this. And then after that, he just little by little.
Well, if that ain't a
It was
mustard
just-
seed, I don't know what is.
Oh,
Hey.
no, seriously. Like I literally pulled over to the gas station. I dropped Monica off down in Texas, And I wanted a cup of coffee because it was late, and I was just like, but I can't. I put everything else I have in this gas tank, and I was just like, I'm just gonna walk in the doors, and I was like, I'm gonna get a free cup of coffee. And so I was walking in, and the person was outside, and they were like, hey, what are you gonna get? I was like, I just need some coffee, and I had a handful of change, and they said, you know what, just go ahead and go get that coffee. And I was just like, they was like, yeah, I'm not coming in to ring you up. You can just get a free cup of coffee and go. I was like, thank you, Father. And I was so happy because I literally spoke it because I was literally using my last change to get coffee to go back up to Muskogee. So once that happened, I was like, okay, we can do this. And I just little by little, the Father kept doing things like that. And it's little to me, but it's really big. I'm like, that. And then after that, it was just, everything just kept rolling.
It's funny how the smallest things feel so big.
It was great.
And Jamal, do me a favor.
What up?
Read this account from the Antiquity of the Jews, Book 8, Chapter 13. You're going to have to get closer.
Man, you kidding me, folks.
First of
Anytime
all,
we say the Book of the Jews, just get up.
yeah, just get up.
I think I got 13.
Yeah. Now this woman of whom we spake before that sustained the prophet, when her son was fallen into a distemper till he gave up the ghost.
So he did die.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Died.
like he died.
Gone.
It wasn't like he died.
No, he was gone.
dead.
Gone. Yeah.
He did.
And appeared and appeared to be dead. Came to the prophet weeping and beat her breast with her hands and sending out such expressions as her passions dictated to her.
She wasn't just doing that. She was beating
Yeah.
her breast she was
upset.
She was talking crazy. She was cussing him smooth out. Is what was going on.
Yeah.
She was letting him know about herself. Like, for real.
Yeah.
After we didn't fed you this whole time. Actually, the Most High fed y'all through me.
Yeah.
You know, but now my son gonna die because of that. Like, she was letting him know.
Yeah. So passions dictated to her and complained to him that he had come to her to reproach her for her sins, and that on this account it was that her son was dead. But he bid. Hold on.
Let me just stop right there.
All right.
So because of her own sins, because of that guilt, because she couldn't repent,
Yeah.
and because she couldn't forgive herself, she was stuck.
Wow.
And she couldn't even notice that the man of the Most High was there. She couldn't see it, after all of that.
Yeah.
Like, because she was dying, she was literally dying, and because, like, whenever you have children, right, they are extensions of you. So if you're down on the inside, they're going to feel it, and that's when it ended up happening.
You're right.
That's why she's telling him it's because of her sins, because she knows that. You know, but she didn't ask for repentance, and then she couldn't forgive herself. We got to forgive ourselves also, right? Okay,
Wow,
keep on.
that all goes
I forgot where I was at, Brody.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, you can't find it?
Right there,
It's not
dead.
man. Yeah.
But
Yeah, he said dead.
But
bid her.
Okay, dead, but okay. But he bid her be of good cheer, and deliver her son to him, for that he would deliver him again to her alive. So when she had delivered her son up to him, he carried him into an upper room, where he himself lodged. Upper room. Okay, anyway, and laid him down upon the bed and cried unto God and said that God had not done well in rewarding the woman who had been entertaining him and sustained him by taking away her son. And he prayed that he would send again the soul of the child into him and bring him to life again. Accordingly, God took pity on the mother and was willing to gratify the prophet, that he might not seem to have come to her to do her a mischief. And the child, beyond all expectation, came to life again. So the mother returned the prophet thanks and said she was then clearly satisfied that God did converse with him. I can't read that little small.
Yeah,
stuff.
my bad. But
Did so
you
great.
see, now this is in the
Alright.
Old Testament. This is what I'm trying to show people.
Yeah.
Elijah knew. You cry out, you call out to the Most High, all things are possible. That's what Yahushua was making plainer in the New Testament. But it's crazy that she didn't, because again, she was dying in her own sins, dying in her own guilt, dying in her own shame. Until he raised her son from the dead, literally, she didn't believe.
She needed an active miracle. And a lot of our people are still like that because when they don't forgive themselves, they don't feel like they deserve
Worthy.
the
Yeah,
blessings of our Father, and so they never do because they just feel guilty, like, oh well, I don't deserve it.
And just like Yahushua couldn't heal you if you didn't have faith, the Most High, He cannot forgive you if you don't forgive yourself.
Right.
What's the point?
And it's important that you do it so that way you can receive the blessings and notice the blessings as they come to you.
That's why the word always says that His hand is stretched out still, right? So we're almost done. So what does it mean to be thankful?
To appreciate.
Are you really asking us that?
Well, it's a question. It's right there.
Appreciative.
Be thankful. I mean, you know what I mean?
You too good. Are you smarter than something? But,
How can you say thankful?
Like,
No
I
way.
mean, thankful is the word you usually, you know what I mean? Like, I'm thankful for this. Like, to give thanks, I mean.
to
Genuine
appreciate. Like you said, to
Appreciate. Okay, yeah.
Genuine
I literally
appreciation,
just said
because I can say thank you
Okay.
And not mean it.
Not mean
Okay.
it.
Y'all are right, but just read this.
Conscious-
What does it mean to be
conscious-
thankful? To be thankful.
That's the word he used.
Look, expresses
grateful,
of thanks.
like,
See?
appreciative.
Conscious of benefit.
Well
received.
pleased.
Yeah.
Glad.
Conscious of benefit received.
To be
Or
conscious of a
benefit
benefit received. So we're learning about our what? Nahala right now.
Mm-hmm.
So this inheritance is a benefit received, right? All we have to do is be
Obedient.
Obedient, yeah.
okay. 1 Kings 13.
And stay.
And open to receive it.
Double O's.
1 Kings 13. Brandon, we'll start with you. Will you please read this slide?
Behold, there came a man of God out of Judah by the word of the Lord unto Bethel and Jeroboam. And
Jeroboam, yeah.
As you were, all right. Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense.
So what's that prophet's name?
Jeroboam?
No.
No, I don't know.
Isaiah.
No.
Elijah.
No.
Kings.
It doesn't tell you.
Mm.
What does it say?
And behold.
Man.
And
Came
a man of God.
so
Oh.
it doesn't tell us this prophet's name.
Okay.
Okay, keep going.
And cried against
Oh, is
the
it a
altar.
trick question?
Right.
Cried against the altar
Right,
in
right.
the word of the Lord and said, O altar, altar, thus saith the Lord, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name, and upon thee shall he offer the priests of the high places that burn incense upon thee, and men's bones shall be burnt upon thee.
So that's what Jeroboam and them and Ahab and them have been doing, right? With the high places and all this right there, right? Okay, keep going.
And he gave a sign the same day, saying, this is the sign which the Lord hath spoken, behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out. What is rent?
Torn,
Okay.
ripped.
So we're paying torn. All right, kid. And it came to pass, when King Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of God, which had cried against the altar in Bethel, that he put forth his hand from the altar, saying, lay hold on him, and his hand which he put forth against him dried up, so that he could not pull it in again to him.
So once the man of the Most High prophesied this thing, Jeroboam trying to get men to lay hands on him, and then his hand withers away.
Mm.
Like the power that be on the Most High people, you don't want to mess with them. Like,
So the dudes that put their hands on him, their hands like
no, read that
king.
again. The king, the one who gave the word for them to do that.
Yeah.
oh, all right, the against them part. That's what I missed.
Right, because remember, you're a Nahala, then ain't nothing gonna happen to you.
And it says, what it say? No weapons formed against me shall prosper.
Prosper.
And the
Every
judgment,
tongue
yeah,
that shall rise up
yeah,
against me and what?
condemned.
In judgment shall be condemned. He condemned him. It's like, hey man, grab this man, this and that. Most High let his hand wither away.
And like you said, because I was thinking like but they was being he the king, so they were doing what the king said.
But the
Now,
king
the
was
king-
being
the
wicked.
king-
He wasn't being righteous because he
Yeah.
was serving other Elohim or other
That's probably why he
gods.
didn't touch their hands and got his hand.
Right,
He gave
because
the
that
word.
was the tongue that rose up against him, right? Hey, Bam, read this one.
The altar also was rent, and those ashes poured out from the altar according to the signs which the man of God had given by the word of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And the king answered and said unto the man of God, entreat now the face of the Lord thy God. What that mean, entreat now?
Pray to the Most High
Wow.
because his hand got withered away.
and pray for me that my hand be restored again. Restored me again. And the man of God besought the Lord, and the king's hand was restored to him again, and became as it was before.
That's power.
That's a lot of power. That's like it was the Elijah. Somebody was speaking out fire.
That's
Shoot him off
Elijah.
the mount. That was
That's
Elijah.
Elijah. Yeah.
And the king said unto the man of God, come home with me and refresh thyself, and I will give thee a reward.
Stay at the brook. Read the next one.
And the man of God said unto the king, if thou wilt give me half thine house, I will not go with thee. Neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place.
There's
Jamal.
nothing that you have that I want.
Nothing.
Well, Jamal. Well, this is why he's saying it. Go ahead.
For so was it charged me by the word of the Lord, saying, eat no bread, nor drink water, nor turn again by the same way that thou camest. So he went another way, and returned not by the law that he came to Bethel.
So the Most High told you better not eat nothing.
That's the way.
You better not drink nothing, and you better not leave the way you came in.
Yeah.
And this ain't the same dude that stayed at the house with the lady and her son?
We don't
That's
know.
Elijah.
Hmm?
We don't know yet. It didn't give
It-
No,
didn't
it's
say
not
no
Elijah.
names.
This ain't Elijah. It didn't
It's
say
not
any
Elijah?
name. This is not Elijah. No.
I think it's Elijah.
It's
I think it's
like
Elijah.
the story
It
is
didn't say.
kind of
I feel like it's
parallel.
Elijah.
Keep reading. This is not
It's
Eliyahu.
gonna give his name.
Y'all gonna find out his name
Read.
today. Y'all gonna
Let's
find out his
read.
name
What's
today.
As you
his
can see, we don't like stories and novels. So
I
we
see.
trying to get to the end.
Alright. Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works that the man of God had done that day in Bethel, the words which he had spoken unto the king. Them they told also to their father.
Stay at the brook. Go ahead.
Alright. And their father said unto them, what way went he? For his sons had seen what way the man of God went. Man, you talking about Elijah, man, which came from Judah.
It's Elijah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Y'all know what I'm saying. And he said unto his son, saddle me the ass. So they saddled him the ass, and he rode thereon.
You know, Jamal, keep reading. Keep reading. Since you think that's him, keep reading. Keep reading.
All right. And went after the man of God, and found him sitting under the oak. And he said unto him, art thou the man of God that camest from Judah? And he said, I am.
Okay.
Then he said unto him, come home with me, and eat bread.
Now, hold on. What did the Most High charge him to do?
Don't eat, don't drink, don't go
Nothing. He
nowhere.
can't do
Go
nothing.
back the way you came.
Okay. Stay at the brook. So he's supposed to be doing what? Being,
Obedient. Yeah.
because you can't always listen to everybody that's coming as whatever. Because he was given a commandment. He was given a word, right? Okay.
All right. And he said, I may not return with thee, nor go in with thee. Neither will I eat bread nor drink water with thee in this place. For it was said to me by the word of the Lord, thou shalt not eat no bread, nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that thou camest. He said unto him, I am a prophet, also as thou art. And an angel spake unto me by the word of the Lord, saying, bring him back with thee into thine house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him.
So did the Most High give this prophet a word,
Yeah.
a commandment?
Yeah, specific commandment.
I'm talking about the man of God.
Yeah,
the Lord.
tell him specific
Said
rules
don't
of what
eat,
to do and what
don't
not to do.
drink, and
Yeah.
go back the way you came.
Yeah.
So if we're supposed to be drinking from our own cisterns, we're supposed to be staying at the brook, which means we're doing what the Most High tells us to do, and we're not listening to any and everybody that's telling us stuff.
Yeah, distraction.
Exactly, because we're in the age of deception, of distraction, because that's what's happening, right? Okay, keep going.
I read it all.
Okay, my bad. We're gonna go to the next slide, and then you can keep going.
So he went back with him. Oh my God, he did
Really,
it.
dude?
And did eat bread in his house and drink the water.
So what does that symbolize?
Disobedience.
Hold on, man.
Disobedience, deception,
What is
all
eating
that.
bread and drinking?
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
he's making the covenant.
But didn't he already have a covenant with his own Most High?
Yes.
You gonna understand why I'm saying he made a covenant here in a minute. Go ahead.
Oh, eat as I eat, drink as I drink. That's crazy. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of the Lord came unto the prophet that brought him back. And he cried unto the man of God that came from Judah, saying, thus saith the Lord, for as much as thou hast disobeyed the mouth of the Lord, and hast not kept the commandment which the Lord thy God commanded thee, but camest back and hast eaten bread and drunk water in the place.
So wait, he didn't just do one of them.
He did all three.
He did
three.
everything he
Man.
told him not to do.
Man,
Listening to somebody that's a prophet.
man.
Because clearly he's a
He
prophet.
said he's a prophet,
Clearly
yeah.
he's a prophet.
The Most High said he was a prophet right there. Like, you listen to this prophet.
So the dude that took him back to the house turned around and basically told him after he ate, "Hey, since you did
Yes, yes,
Yeah, finish it. Yeah, finish it. Finish
All
reading
right.
it.
Because I read to the end and I'm just like,
But camest back and has eaten the bread and drunken water in the place of which the Lord said don't do whatever, and drink no water. Thou carcass shall not come unto the
Sepulcher.
of thy fathers.
and that's the
Tomb.
The tomb.
Okay.
Wow.
So, bam, read this one.
And it came to pass after he had eaten bread and after he had drunk, that he saddled for him the ass to wait. That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To wait for the prophet whom he had brought back.
He's so nice. He gonna saddle this horse up for you. You know, your last ride.
Your last ride.
The last one, Undertaker. Right. All right.
And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way and slew
what?
him.
A what?
lion.
A lion.
Now, what is the animal that represents the tribe of Judah?
A
Lion of Judah.
Who's the lion of the tribe of Judah? Yahusha.
Mm-hmm.
Slew him. And his carcass was cast into the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass.
So, and then the lion don't even go after the donkey.
That's crazy.
Don't even eat him.
That's
Now,
crazy.
did he stay
the
at the
person
brook?
or the donkey? That's crazy.
Huh?
The lion, he didn't eat the person or the donkey.
It
He
slew
did
him.
eat
I
the
mean,
donkey. He ate the
he
person.
killed
He didn't
him.
eat the donkey.
No,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
no,
He didn't eat. He didn't. He
No,
killed him. He
yeah,
just
yeah,
killed him.
killed
Yeah.
him, yeah.
My
and,
bad.
then, and then he said that. I'm sorry, I read ahead. My bad.
Yeah. Don't do that. But so did he stay at the brook?
No.
No.
He left.
So what things did he do? That
Everything that the Most High said, that
He ate, drank, and went the same way old boy came or whatever.
he went back.
he went back to the
Well,
place that the
well,
Most High
yeah.
told him not to go to.
Yeah.
Sound like Adam and Eve.
Hmm?
Sound like Adam and Eve.
Yeah, a little bit,
Yeah.
right? All right, but keep going.
And behold, men passed by and saw the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass, and they came up and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelt. And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, "It is the man of God who was disobedient unto the word of the Lord. Therefore the Lord hath delivered him unto the lion, which had torn him and slain him according to the word of the Lord, which he spake unto me." Unto him. I'm tripping. Keep going. And he spake to his son, saying, "Saddle me an ass," and they saddled him. And he went and found his carcass cast in the way, and the ass and the lion standing by the carcass. The lion had not eaten the carcass, nor torn the ass. And the prophet took up the carcass of the man of God and laid it upon the ass and brought it back. And the old prophet came to the city to mourn and to bury him. And he laid his carcass in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, "Alas, my brother." You still? Okay. And it came to pass. I thought your mom was getting in trouble. And it came to pass, after he had buried him, that he spake to his son, saying, "When I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre."
Sepulcher.
Sepulchre.
Okay.
Sepulcher.
Sepulchre. Wherein the man of God is buried, lay my bones beside his bones. For the saying which he cried by the word of the Lord against the altar in Bethel, and against all the house of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria, shall surely come to pass.
Wait, what is he saying? Read that again slowly. So I'll read it. It says, "For the saying which he cried," that the man of Eliyahu had prophesied earlier. "For the saying which he cried by the word of Yahuah against the altar in Bethel." So there's an altar in Bethel, right? Mm-hmm. "And against all the houses of the high places." What are the high places?
That's like
Mountains.
the temples.
Mountains.
What temples?
The
The
mountains.
Okay, but
The altars, like, whatever.
what's important about high places in the Bible?
Rich people.
Hmm?
The king.
No, this
That's
is where
where
they would
the
go to
father
worship.
would speak to
Serve
him,
God,
right?
find God.
No, because
Okay,
he said
we're all lost.
because he said against
All the
all the
houses.
houses. So there's the altar of Bethel, right? That's the Most High's altar, right? And it's against. That means that you're going against somebody. It's like a versus against all the high places that are in Samaria.
For the witchcraft.
So they're exactly. So they're serving other
Gods,
Elohim.
Yeah, but I figured that's why he was, because the man of God previously, before he got killed, he told Jeroboam to pretty much destroy all the altars because they was doing wickedness on it. So yeah, that's like.
So what is verse 32 saying then?
So verse 32 is saying like it's gonna come a time that all these altars will be destroyed, pretty much, right?
Read verse 31.
Man, hold on, man. Who is the
After
prophet,
he
bro?
had-
I've been trying to
They
Google
had
it. It
to
won't even
pay.
You
say
won't
on
you
Google.
won't find it on Google. I found it though. I'm better than Google. I said it. Anyway,
I've been Googling the whole time. It won't say
I was
it,
like,
bro.
I'm gonna find out.
And it
Let me
came to
find
pass
Man.
after he buried him that he spoke to his son saying, "When I am dead,
When the old prophet is dead,
then bury me in this
sepulcher,
is that the grave? Can I say grave?
grave, yeah.
Okay, in the grave wherein the man of God is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones.
Lay my bones beside or against his. Now read the next verse.
For the saying which he cried by the word of the Lord against the altar of Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which were in Samaria, surely shall come to pass.
Okay, now read the next verse.
After this thing, Jeroboam returned.
Y'all don't see it. Y'all don't see it, do you?
Hold on, no. So this Samuel,
Jeroboam.
Samuel is the old prophet. No,
No, you way off.
because no, Jeroboam is his
Jeroboam the
sons
prophet.
because he talking to his sons,
Okay,
right?
so no, y'all, wow.
No,
Oh,
hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm
You
not even
can't figure this out.
I
I'm
don't know,
gonna figure
bro.
this out. You got me
I'm
messed
tripping,
up.
bro. Hold on, man.
Okay.
Read all of it again.
So
bro.
yeah, so y'all start at the
It
top
was like a riddle.
and read all four
Just
verses.
FYI, it was not a riddle.
You got it, Jess.
No, but y'all acting like he giving you a riddle.
Because he said y'all don't get it. Now I gotta get something. I like to get stuff. Okay. So just take it slow. We know dude talking to his sons. Boom.
But who is dude?
The old prophet talking to his sons.
What's dude's name? That's what we're trying to get.
The old prophet.
Who's like
So we got the old prophet, we got the man of God. The man of God is the one who got killed.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So we got the old prophet who tricked the man
Yeah.
of God.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the old prophet talking to his sons, bury me next to the man of God.
Yeah.
So my bones will be beside his.
Yeah.
Then he say, so boom, pretty much what the man of God came to say was he like, y'all got to destroy these altars. So all that's going to come to pass. After this, Jeroboam returned not from his evil way, but made again of the lowest of the people priests
Right.
of the high places.
And he took the Levites out from being the priesthood. So that's another bad thing that Jeroboam did. But so do y'all get what I was saying now?
No, we ain't finished. Whosoever would, he constructed him, and he became one of the priests consecrated him, and he became one of the priests of the high places.
The lowly people, right?
And this thing became sin under the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off and destroy it from off the face of the earth. So he took the whole.
So the dude, all right. So dude come in. He's supposed to stay by the brook, right? All right. So he got talked. He got gamed by the pimp of the village, and freaking he got gamed by a dude, and he lost his brook. He dies.
How you get killed? You didn't just die. You got killed.
Yeah, he was murdered.
Life was ended.
Yeah.
So freaking other cat, this one, he goes and gets him, buries him. He tells his son, this is the man who spoke against all of the witchcraft of the high places, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his son, he tells him, when I die, bury me next to him. His son basically, all right, cool, pops, that's what I'll do, and then goes and joins all of the high places as a priest.
Where does it say
Am I
his son
correct?
did that?
Am I correct? Like,
Where-
no.
where-
No,
No,
he's
it doesn't
telling
say
him
that.
that when
'Cause
he
look,
dies, that he wants that to happen, like
Right.
for him to bury
Because
the
I'm
bones.
looking at all right,
Jeroboam is not his son.
returned not from his evil way, but made. But
Jeroboam.
Yes,
That's the
Jeroboam is
king.
not the son.
I thought that was the.
No.
Never mind.
No.
That's why I said it's,
So
it's
since
a lot
y'all
missing. It's a lot missing from right there. then.
Please
it's not.
explain.
It's really not. But we're going to explain from the antiquity of the Jews. Okay, look.
I just want to know who.
I'm about to show you. So, and it came to pass after he had buried him that he spake to his son, saying, "When I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre wherein the man of Elohim is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones." So that's my bones against his bones.
Yeah.
Think of it. One bones,
Yeah.
the man of the Most High, and then the old
Prophet.
man's bones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the saying which he cried by the word of Yahuah against the altar in Bethel. This is what the man of Eliyahu had prophesied. And against all the houses of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria shall surely come to pass. So it's the Mount Bethel,
Yeah.
and it's the high places of Samaria. Yeah, I still don't get it. All right, never mind.
What are we missing?
Wow. Okay. All right. We're gonna go back to
Excuse
the
me?
antiquity of the Jews. Huh?
Because he prophesied that they should fall.
It should
Like,
come
I
to
don't
pass.
get it.
It's gonna
So,
happen.
yeah,
What
when
are we
he,
missing? Just tell us. We ain't gotta.
no, we still got to go through the lesson. But
No, because like there's
They
only
act like
there's
it's
only
in
four
there. Like, it wasn't what you
there.
gave us.
It was
No,
there.
it wasn't.
It was there.
I'm finna show you.
Okay. The antiquity of the Jews.
So what was in there? What was
Book
in there?
8,
Difference tell
chapter 9. Jeremiah,
Oh,
young man, since you tried to
You
Google,
You a judge.
since you tried to Google me,
I did.
okay,
too.
Shaq, Google me, like
Yeah.
Shaq said. I need you to read this
Oh,
for me.
God.
You gotta be kidding
You have to
me,
come up,
Brody.
come
It's
up
the
here.
same font. I just want y'all to know it's the same font, but it's just close together.
Close together.
It's not space.
All right.
Okay.
There, Jamal, come
Now,
up closer.
There was a certain wicked man in that city
Oh, he was a wicked man.
who was a false prophet,
Mm.
Uh-oh.
whom Jeroboam had in great esteem.
Wait a minute. Jeroboam's the king.
What in the world? The plot thickens
This
on
was
us.
in the other
see.
thing.
I cannot
Yeah.
think
That's
of
what I'm
right now.
saying. They didn't call him a false prophet. False prophet. But see, in
He
the
said
part,
he lied to him.
in the part
They
where
didn't say he lied to him.
Well, a false prophet ain't gonna just say, "Hey, I'm a
Yeah.
false prophet, guys."
Exactly.
Hey, you know me, false prophet here.
False prophet.
Angel
Come
came
on,
and
come
told
on,
me,
Let's
"Don't
just
bring
go
him to my
down
house
the
and
list.
eat
I got
my
it
food."
now. Because when it was
Whoa.
talked about the man coming, it said about the false prophet. It's,
Yeah.
it's specified false prophet.
Yeah, ahead of time.
What's this stuff?
And he still did it anyway.
Well, you were low down.
But still,
Who will
is
low
the
down?
prophet, though?
Y'all about to find out. Just go ahead. Just
Go ahead.
keep
I
going.
just want to know who the prophet was.
So start from the top again, please.
All right. There was a certain wicked man in that city who was a false prophet, whom Jeroboam had in great esteem, but was deceived by him and his flattering words. This man was bedridden.
Bedridden is what it is. That's
This
what
man-
it is.
this
That,
man
but
was
back
bed-
then, that's how they would say it.
Bedridden. So
Yeah.
bedridden, okay.
Mhm.
By reason of the infirmities of old age. However, he was informed by his sons concerning the prophet that was come from Jerusalem and concerning the signs done by him.
So you heard of the transformation. Somebody heard of the transformation that we're all going through,
Yeah.
right? And I told you they get jealous. You got to be careful.
Wow.
Got to be careful. Keep going.
And how when Jeroboam's right hand had been, what's that?
Enfeebled
I ain't never
or,
heard of
or
that.
withered away.
Okay.
Withered away.
Enfeebled. At the prophet's prayer, he had it revived again, whereupon he was afraid that this stranger and prophet should be in better esteem with the king than himself, and obtain greater honor from him. And he gave orders to his sons to saddle his ass presently,
Did that sound familiar?
yeah, and make all ready that he might go out. Accordingly, they made haste to do what they were commanded. And he got upon his ass and followed after the prophet. And when he had overtaken him, as he was resting himself under a very large oak tree, we just heard that too, that was thick and shady, he at first saluted him.
Hey, shalom.
Yeah.
Shalom, Aki.
But presently he complained of him because he had not come into his house and partaken of his hospitality.
You can't partake in everybody's hospitality.
Can't
You
trust
can't.
everybody's cooking, man.
Everybody ain't your friend.
Can't go to
everybody
everybody's
ain't your
house,
spiritual
everybody's cooking,
brother.
nothing.
Chicken
Everybody
just-
ain't. Because like when people see the light that's shining on you, jealousy will come out, and they're gonna try to
Take you out.
get you off course.
Yeah.
They're gonna try to get you to not drink from your own cistern, to not stay at the brook. Bam, go ahead.
Oh gosh.
That's even worse than the first one.
Yeah, you gonna have to come up here, man. Go ahead.
I got 2020. He got 13.
This is 2022.
Then why you going way up there then? You got 2020.
Because I'm just.
I invited my
He asked me to come.
Oh, all right, all
That's
right.
what is his
Oh,
short.
all
kind
right.
of late. But
And when the other said that God had forbidden him to taste of any, when the other, not others, my bad, that God had forbidden him to taste of anyone's provision in that city, he replied that for certain God had not forbidden that I should set food before thee, for I am a prophet, as thou art.
Snake.
He was a prophet, he was just false. You know, he left that part out.
Mm-hmm.
He was definitely a prophet. False one, yeah.
And worship God in the same manner that thou doest. And I am now come and sent by him in order to bring thee into my house and make thee my guest. Now Jadon gave credit to
Wait,
this living.
Who?
Jadon.
who's Jadon?
That's the first time we heard of Jadon.
Yeah, this is it. This you can take my seat. Right?
Yeah. Hey, shalom, shalom. Good to meet you. Hey. Hey.
This is the first time we heard of Jadon.
That's crazy.
So that prophet, the man of God's name
Jadon.
is Jadon or Yadon, Yadon, but J,
So
which
you-
means thankful, by the way.
No, I think my
Back to being
cousin's name was
thankful.
Jadon, just like spelled just like they.
It means
That's the only time I
thankful.
ever heard that name. When I call my cousins.
I can't believe Google didn't have this, bro.
I'm better than Google. I told you. I got you.
That's crazy. Google was fired, bro.
Effective immediately.
Carry on.
Now, that's why you said thankful. The thankful mean
Hmm.
gave credit to this living prophet and returned back with him. But when they were at dinner, they were married together. God appeared to Jadon and said that he should suffer punishment for transgressing his commandment. And look how the Most High works. Even though dude was a false prophet,
Yeah.
he didn't give the prophecy to the man of God. He spoke to the false prophet and told him, "Now I need you to tell him this, since you lied."
When
to
they're
him."
married, so they was probably sipping.
Yeah. Man, anyway, where was it? Somewhere around here. Boom, boom,
Transgressing his
boom.
commands. Yep.
And he told him what that punishment should be. For he said that he shall meet with a lion as he was going on his way, by which the lion should be torn in pieces. By which lion he should be torn in pieces and be deprived of burial in the graves of his fathers.
So the Most High even told him exactly how he was going to die. I mean, he told him exactly what not to do, and he did everything the Most High told him not to do.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna let you know your end. You gonna see it.
Lion, yeah. I got a lion waiting on
You
you.
gonna see it coming.
Yeah.
Keep on.
Which things came to pass, as I suppose, according to the will of God, that so Jeroboam might not give heed unto the words of Jada,
Hmm.
as of one that had been convicted of lying. However, so that's why. Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
However, Jada was again going to Jerusalem. A lion assaulted him and pulled him off the beast he rode on and slew him. Yet did he not
At all.
at all hurt the ass, but sat by him and kept him. As also the prophet's body discontinued till some travelers that saw it came and told in the city to the false prophet, who sent his sons and brought the body into the city and made a funeral for him at great expense.
So if this guy was a false prophet before the king, don't you think this prophet would know about that? Don't you think he would be known?
Well, by being a liar?
Yeah.
But see, like, this just one account. So when a real prophet's account, he be like, I can't let that happen. That's why right here it says, he pretty much.
When he went into that town, he didn't go into that town worried about nobody else. He went into that town to do his job, and he was gonna stay by the brook. So he didn't. Why would he? If he didn't go in there, I'm not worried about you. I'm not worried about your city. I'm not worried about nothing. if I'm not going to the king's house, why would I care about anybody else? So when the dude came to him and said, I'm a prophet like him, it was more of a surprise to him.
But the Most High told him not to go back, just to get out of there. Why would he go back? Because this dude was on.
Because the dude lied, said, the angel told me to come over here and do this at the third.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
Because a lot of times it don't be the situation that comes at you, it be how you react to it. So that came up. So the Most High was testing this man. Okay, I mean, you gave him my word. You showed my power. Just be obedient. And what happened?
What happened?
Got
If he
caught
was
off
just
guard.
Slipping.
Yeah, Jaden, he got caught, man. He got caught.
That line would have had to catch me, bro.
Huh?
That
You think you can outrun the Most High?
Oh,
What are you talking about?
Dude, I ain't gonna run it.
Line gonna catch me where? I'll be at the sea. What you mean? Then the sea line. Oh, you ain't no getting away from the Most High. What you mean?
Don't get you.
I ain't gonna be no sitting down, just sitting right there.
He said the sea lion though.
Yeah.
He said sea lion.
Yeah.
Because he said he was gonna get killed by a lion, and he went to the sea to hide, but the sea lion came and got him.
Y'all silly, man. Y'all need hugs.
Man, but can you keep going? We're almost done.
He also charged his sons to bury him. Wow.
No, you got it.
He also, I thought she wanted to read.
Nah, you got it.
He also charged his sons to bury himself with him and said that all which he had foretold against the city and the altar and priests and false prophets were proved true, and that if he were buried with him, he should receive no
Injurious.
injurious treatment after his death. So he thinking after he die, he gonna be straight because he buried by the man of the Most High.
See, no, it's not that. He's saying that. I guess it is. It's twofold. It's that, and then he's saying that the man of the Most High wouldn't have anything injurious in his death either.
Oh.
So he thinks he's looking out for the man of the Most High because now he can't actually be buried with his fathers, with his family. He's got to be buried with this lion prophet. What do you think is going to happen to the lion prophet?
Oh, he gonna get born.
What?
Oh, but injurious treatment after his death. The bones not being then to be distinguished asunder. That's right, right. But now when he had performed those funeral rites to the prophet and had given the charge to his sons, as he was a wicked and
Impious.
pious man, he goes to Jabram and say to him, and wherefore is it now that thou art disturbed at the words of this silly fellow?
So now he's going back to run to the king because he's been manipulating the king this
The
whole
whole time he been lying to
Now,
him.
if you don't think that the man of the Most High didn't know that there was somebody behind the scenes manipulating this guy besides his wife, I mean, come on, man.
And when the king had related to him what had happened about the altar and about his own hand, and gave him the names of the divine man and an excellent prophet, he was
Endeavored.
by a wicked trick to weaken his opinion. And what is that? And by
Using plausible.
By using plausible words concerning what had happened, he aimed to injure the truth that was in them.
So then, even after he didn't got this man killed, he's still going to try to degrade this man's character to the king so he can still have that stature with the king. So he didn't care nothing about it. That's why we got to stay at the brook. That's why we got to stay rooted on the Most High. That's why we got to, like you said earlier, get in the book for ourselves. Don't just take everybody's opinion. Actually get in there and read it. It's right there. If people are giving you doctrines that are confusing you, read it. Try to read it to understanding, though, because that's what we're supposed to be doing. You know. And finish this off.
Oh gosh.
You right here.
Smaller and
I got
smaller.
it. Actually, Jamal, you read it better than I do. I like the way you read.
I hate the way I
Boy, I like the way you read, boy.
Goodness gracious. I'm just not gonna look at it.
For he attempted to persuade him that his hand was enfeebled by the labor it had undergone in supporting the sacrifices, and that upon its resting a while it returned to its former nature again.
Now, how dumb did this king got to be to believe that? Like, wait a minute. I told my guys to put hands on the man of the Most High.
Yeah.
My hand gets withered away once that happens. The man of the Most High prays for me. My hand is restored.
Yeah.
oh no, you was just tired from all the sacrificing you've been doing. No, once you rested, it was good. It was all good.
But the king don't do anything. He don't actually go sacrifice nothing.
What are you talking about?
Like, I'm thinking the way
Solomon.
kings are.
David and Solomon sacrificed a lot. So yeah, that's why Solomon, he sacrificed thousands of different sacrifices, and then that's when he was given all the wisdom and all that.
Thank you for
Keep
the
going.
correction.
Yeah, you're good.
And that as to the altar, it was but new, and had borne abundance of sacrifices, and those large ones too.
So not only with the hand situation, then the altar gets destroyed just like the prophet had prophesied. But keep going.
And was accordingly broken to pieces and fallen down by the weight of what had been laid upon it. He also informed him of the death of him that had been foretold those things.
So do you think he really cared about the man of the Most High? Wait a minute, because no, we'll bury him in my sepulcher. Yeah, he can be in the grave with me. Oh, I feel so bad that he died. Let me go to the king. Take me to the king, Tamar man.
Yeah. Oh man, I done lost my foretold those things. All right, and how he perished, whence he concluded that he had not anything in him of a prophet, nor spake anything like one.
So then he said he wasn't even a prophet,
Nowhere
man.
near
He was
one.
a he was a false
He
prophet.
been fronting the whole
I'm the
time.
real deal. I'm still here. I'm alive.
Yeah, he been fronting the whole time.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
When he had thus spoken, he persuaded the king and entirely alienated his mind from God. Wow. And from doing works that were righteous and holy, and encouraged him to go on in his impious practices. And accordingly, he was to that degree injurious to God, and so great a transgressor, that he sought for nothing else every day but how he might be guilty of something new instances of wickedness, and such as should be more, man, these words is killing me, and such as should be more detestable than what he had been so insolent as to do before. And so much shall at present suffice to have said, man, I'm done.
Said concerning
Yeah.
Jeroboam. Said Jeroboam.
Man, Jeroboam.
But
So,
Go ahead.
Man,
That's crazy, bro.
and it's crazy, you know what I mean? Just putting on the surface level of now. Jeroboam had this friend, this prophet that he been for years probably, and his miracle came, but he want to listen to what's familiar, what he been knowing.
the lying prophet.
We gotta, like, once again, you know, this just sorry it was off topic a little bit, but just because something familiar or we used to it, man, we can't be stuck with this.
Yeah.
We can't be stuck with this. So, you know, we gotta open our eyes, open our ears, open our hearts, take heed to what thus says the Lord, because that right there,
That ain't it.
that ain't it. Man, boy, I'm so glad you got to listen now, boy. You think you been in the vessel. Let them use her.
No, because like that's what people will do is try to get you in every wind of doctrine right now. This ain't the time to just be going wavering, going to anybody to try to eat from their table. Because man, they could be setting you up for death, bro. Like you don't know. Like we don't know what even our parents' prayers have been protecting us from, let alone our own prayers. We don't know who's really praying against us or praying on us. That's why we got to know our Nahala. That's why we got to know our heritage. That's why we got to pray Psalms 23. That's why we got to repent, for the kingdom of heaven is nigh. Repentance is something that we should be doing daily.
Daily.
Because sometimes it's an attitude that you give to somebody.
Yeah.
It's a thought.
Boy.
Like, people understand
Man.
them thoughts are powerful. Especially the lingering ones.
Yeah.
Well, I pray against my thoughts daily also.
Yep.
And with all the wisdom and knowledge that he had, I mean, it's very clear that he didn't have the spirit of discernment with him, because he would have caught on to that false prophet. So it's really important that when we're praying over our daily lives and in our spiritual walk, that we are also asking not just for the knowledge and the wisdom, but also discernment, because it's important, because it's going to keep us from falling into traps like that.
Yeah,
When you feel something's wrong, you know something's wrong. Like, don't go against it.
Tuition.
So it's just so crazy because like he had left, like he was on his way back home. What's he gonna turn back for? You know, that's called
Right.
backsliding, right? That's literally what it's called.
Backslide,
Who's the
literally.
prophet
Huh?
or the king?
The prophet of the king. It didn't tell you his name, but the man of God that we were reading about, his name was Jaden. That was his name, Jaden, which means thankful, which goes back to the title,
Jadon.
Or Jadon,
Yeah.
whichever one. But that's all I got. We got to stay at the brook. We got to stay rooted. This is Nahala Part 3. Pray us out.
For sure, for sure. Heavenly Father, we want to say thank you for the many blessings that you stored upon us. We thank you for just being Yah and Yah all alone. We thank you for our Nahala. Heavenly Father, let us walk in it. Let us be obedient so we can walk in our Nahala. We just thank you for your precious, your darling son who came, died, and rose with all power in his hands so we might have the right to the tree of life. I want to ask you for forgiveness for
All of us.
our ancestors, you know, the things that we think, Heavenly Father, we want to adhere to your truth, Heavenly Father, and your truth alone. No matter who comes, it might sound good, no matter who we know, Heavenly Father, allow us to take heed unto you, your words, your will, Heavenly Father. Let our will be aligned with yours, and our walk be aligned with yours, Heavenly Father. Forgive us for all our sins once again. Teach us the way so we may teach our children.
Yes, Father.
And these are the blessings of your darling son, Yeshua's name we pray. Hallelujah. Amen.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. YAH'S Assembly out.